dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's gawon'twait.com.
If you are an IT professional looking for an opportunity with great benefits, the freedom to creatively solve problems, in a career with great growth potential and a team environment, look no further than Affinity Technology. Serving the Valley since 1992, Affinity Technology is looking for a level 1 tech to develop and deliver excellent solutions and outstanding customer service. Visit atechaz.com/jobs and get started with your future today. That's atechaz.com/jobs.
The Sun Devil men's basketball season is fast approaching. Frankie Collins, who drives to the goal, dunks it in. Join the action this year and catch USC, UCLA, Washington, and Arizona when all come to Desert Financial Arena in the final year of the Pac-12 Conference. Collins, great spin move, drives to the basket and lays it in. Get your tickets today by calling 480-965-5812 or go online to sundeviltickets.com. Sun Devil men's basketball, onward to victory.
Greg Clark Automotive Specialist, located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley automobiles for 44 years. And we're offering our fall inspection on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Also, our brake service inspection, recommended every year to prevent repairs and ensure top performance. For guaranteed family touch service, contact us at 602-246-2881. Highly rated by Google. Online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention the Fanatic to get 10% off.
Did you know there are resources out there to support every Arizona service member, veteran, and their family? The Be Connected program is available statewide at no cost. We're here to help you navigate the system and get connected to whatever resources you need. Call 866-4AZ-VETS to talk directly to caring people professionally trained to help you. This message is brought to you by the Arizona Coalition for Military Families, the Arizona Department of Veteran Services, and Arizona's Be Connected partners.
Live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale.
Here we go. This is KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM. All right, people, settle down. Because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Tuesday here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. Maybe he'll be back tomorrow, but we do got Keon Rose in the control room. We got you guys on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And yesterday, I left a whole lot of texts on the text line. I think it was about 10 different texts I left at the end of the show that I promised I would go back to and read. Now, here's the thing. Some of them will not make sense because this is something that happened 21 hours ago. Some of them didn't make sense 21 hours ago. So we'll see what happens. It's a lottery. Let's find out. And then we'll get on to all the stuff that we got to talk about today. Let's see. Yesterday at the end of the show, Hefty Lefty said 20 seconds is fine for the Broncos game. That's right. We did only spend a short amount of time talking about that game because, you know. And he says, no need to question what the hell's going on. Just let it keep happening quietly. Oh, I see. Hefty Lefty didn't want to jinx whatever the hell is going on with his Denver Broncos and their winning ways. And, it is a surprise. And I don't know. Do you trust what's going on with the Broncos right now? Do you think, here's the Broncos. They're a good team. We thought they might be. When Sean Payton showed up, do we trust this, or is this just weird?
No, I trust it. I mean, he's a head coach of a team. This is his first year being the head coach of that team, and that takes time for players to trust the guy that comes in, even if it's Sean Payton and all of the accolades that he has. It still takes time for players to trust that guy, buy into what he's trying to sell. When they start to see the results and start to see things working, that's when you start to get players playing at a higher level. His offenses have always been great. This offense isn't, but it's good enough. And they always had a great defense. They just weren't playing like it at the start of the year. They're starting to play over the last 5 to 6 games like a competent NFL defense. So yeah, I think it's real. That doesn't mean I think they're a Super Bowl contender, but I do think that, yeah, they're going to be hanging around the playoff hunt for the rest of the season.
That is just amazing. Not where we thought things would be with the Broncos just a few weeks ago. T-Licious yesterday texted, I need 6 catches and 90 yards and 2 touchdowns for Hockenstein. Feels reasonable, right? Well, I went back and looked at TJ Hawkinson's stats. He had 50 yards and 1 touchdown, and he got 16 points. So I feel like maybe T-Licious lost their fantasy football yesterday. Number one Rattlers fan says, for 25 years, Frank Reich had a distinct record. He owned the NCAA football greatest comeback record with Maryland, and then the greatest NFL comeback with the Buffalo Bills. Okie dokie. Lost Taco says, hey, Ralph, when does LeBron James play hide and seek with his teammates? Why is he doing that? Because every time he gets close to finding them, they trade places. What does that even mean? Do you understand that text?
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? Yesterday, we weren't even talking about it at that time. So nobody knows what you're talking about, Lost Taco. Cardinal Art says, did you guys hear about Greg Olson interested in the Carolina Panthers coaching job if the owner reaches out to him? Oh, I wouldn't do it. Greg Olson, do we feel like Greg Olson is a smart guy?
He is.
Then he needs to stay where he's at. It's a safer gig and the money is better and there's less stress.
I mean, but here's the thing. If your favorite job, and mine is exactly this, the job where they pay you not to coach football, you could do worse than the Panthers job. Just know it might be your last one. Like if Greg Olson wants to be a head coach in the future for much longer than just one job. But if you want, David Tepper to cut you a $20 million check to not coach his football team because he'll fire you in either a year or 2, that's not a bad job, quite frankly.
No, Greg Olson should just stay where he's at. That's the smart thing. Cardinal Art yesterday also, he found the middle finger emoji, just like I did. And he says, it's just kind of like what Oprah used to do. You get a middle finger. You get a middle finger. Cardinal Art gets a middle finger. Everybody gets a middle finger. Hating Ass Fitzgerald on the text line gets 2 middle fingers. Who's hating Ass Fitzgerald? Who's that? We don't even have a Fitzgerald on the text line, do we? I don't even know who you were talking about yesterday, Cardinal Art. Swazman says, how about Frank Reich and Josh McDaniels pick a team, maybe taking over Boston New Patriots coaches? Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Don't think that's going to happen, Swazman. Dodger Danny says, bigger blowout, Rams over Cardinals, or some other game we're not talking about anymore. Shut up, Dodger Danny. It's Patrick says, please have your wife save her money and not waste it on any of that Cardinal gear. Oh, the horror. Well, it's not her spending the money. It's people who love her who are buying her Christmas presents and things like that have the Cardinals on it. So now she feels like she has to stay with the team because she's just about had it with the Cardinals for like the 3rd or 4th time.
Yeah.
Killer Rabbit says, I think you said the word bad about the Cardinals yesterday more than Michael Jackson did in that song. Yes, I did, because it was bad. So bad. Blissful Hayes says, did the middle finger emoji I received yesterday from the blender mean I'm in the Texter Hall of Fame? No. Navy Brad says, well, I hate to say it, but I think the Cardinals are laughing at the Vikings for the Dobbs trade today. Yeah, you know what, though? They weren't laughing at them for the couple of weeks before. Dobbs and the Vikings had a bad day. And I don't think you automatically throw Dobbs out into the trash heap. You don't automatically take back every nice thing you ever said about him. not all of it is going to be his fault. But you know what? You built up that hype train. You built up the Pasternaut. You built up. Donnie had a motif candle with him as a religious figure on it. You probably got too excited too fast, Vikings fans. He's a good. This is what we said all the time he was here. He's a really nice backup. He's a nice backup.
If you have to turn to Josh Dobbs in a pinch, that's a good dude to have coming off the bench. Guy started for your team all 16, 17 games. No.
Yeah. Good for him for having some success right away with the Vikings. He won 2 games for you guys. Well, he came in one and finished it, and he won one, and then now you've lost one. So you've got a little bit of everything. Here, he won a game as the starter. Now, if you look at the teams, minus quarterback, Cardinals, Vikings, which team is better? Thinking you should do better with the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
Thinking that is a better team minus quarterback. So, yeah, I told you guys to pump your brakes on Dobbs, and now I'm telling you to pump them the other direction. Don't run him over, then back over him again. Just, he's a good backup. Just get through your season. Vikings, you're not going to the playoffs. Vikings, you're not needed in the playoffs. Nobody wants you in the playoffs. Your team is ass right now. And that is where we're just going to have to leave it. And, you've got a team like a lot of teams out there. Plus minus quarterback, great team is ass. And, you're not the only ones, but you're not going to the Super Bowl this year. I'm sorry. It's a fact. I did send a direct message to Donnie last night because Donnie was losing his mind on Twitter. And I said, hey, come on, just once for me. Call your team. Come on. Call your team a bitch-ass team. Come on.
Oh, my God.
Just do it for me.
He
did not do it.
Yeah, because he's a Vikings fan. He's a true fan. So I don't expect him.
He's been busy calling all their Arizona teams and every other team a bitch-ass team. I just come on. Let's hear it.
It's just,
come on.
That is one of the worst football games I've ever been subjected to.
Oh, God, it was just painful.
Horrible.
We tuned away for a while, came back, and it continued to be we're like, only field goals? What? How do you win the game? And Vikings, how do you lose a game? With field goals. Only field goals. It's like OnlyFans is where girls go. This is only field goals. This is horrible. That was a horrible game last night. It was so bad, and it was bad forever. I love how Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were trying to put it off as some defensive battle. Bullcrap. That was just some of the worst football.
If we were watching any 2 other teams, maybe. But not those teams, because they're not great defensive teams. We already know this because if you've seen either of them play. But to the other point of it is, no, sometimes the teams just can't score. Justin Fields was so below average that entire game. And on the other side, so was Josh Dobbs. And they just had a mid-off. They were just 2 of the most middling teams just looking like that. And it was,
It was so bad. Donnie is on the text line. It says, please take Josh Dobbs back. He is god awful. Dude, you have a motif candle, okay? And it's been 1 loss. So keep the faith, Donnie. All right, let's see here. Some of these textures, I'm not sure if I'm going to read. Yes. Booger Wolf says the biggest blowout of the weekend was. Okay, now that I've read it a little more, I can't read that.
Oh boy.
Blissful Hayes says, I'm a Bears fan, but the Bears should be kicked out of the NFL for winning with no touchdowns, especially since Dobbs had 4 interceptions. Yeah, you lost. You lost the game, Vikings, on 4 interceptions, and the Bears won the game on field goals. You should all be ashamed of yourself. We are the victim here. We took the L. Having watched it.
Yeah, I just I wouldn't have watched most of that game except I was watching it at the gym, and so I couldn't leave because I was already there,
trapped on the treadmill.
But the point of the gym, of watching football at the gym, is that I have the football to distract me from the fact that I'm at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the football's bad. The suffering actually didn't come from the exercise. It came from the TV.
Suffering all around, man.
Yeah.
Lost Toby says primetime games are boring AF. Not always. Not always. We've had some pretty good ones, actually.
Yeah.
That one, you are correct. That wasn't boring. It was horrible. Horrible. Absolutely despicable. Blah is another good word for it. Just blah. Ugh. Pinocchio has sent me something. It's a picture. Oh, this season has been painful. T-shirt is what he's got. Oh, is that a Patriot hat right there? Your season's been painful. Look about some of these other teams. Who's had the most painful season other than the Carolina Panthers? Nobody.
I mean, if you're a 2-win Patriots fan and you thought you might at least be 500 in your division, you are suffering a little. I'll acknowledge that.
It's all part of the plan, Patriots fans. It's all part of the plan. Bill Belichick, it doesn't do anything halfway. He doesn't cheat halfway. He doesn't coach halfway. And he doesn't tank halfway. You're tanking. Navy Brad says that game was so bad, but I am happy the NyQuil kicked in, so I was out by halftime.
Hey, lucky you.
Says he's still home with the flu there. Oh, sorry to hear it, man. Hope you feel better. Lost Toby says, are we sure Donnie isn't an Arizona fan with like how quickly he loses faith in his team? Yeah, he was on Twitter talking about just giving up on Minnesota sports. And he was talking about how his son, when he's born, it's like, should I bring him up as a Minnesota sports fan or should I spare him? I don't know, Donnie. Being your son is going to be hard enough.
Oh, no.
You might want to.
Oh, my God.
You might want to bandwagon that kid on some successful franchise, not in Minnesota, maybe not even in Arizona. Just find something where at least they've got a respectful history. Now, I think that's what you should do if you really love your child. 888-368-1580. So the Ugg Bowl last night has come and gone. Listening to Fields talk at the end of the game, nobody should have been allowed to talk at the end of the game. Nobody. She's sitting there talking to him, the winning quarterback. Dude could not get it done. He got one play done that gave them the chance for that field goal, but even that was never a given because their field goal kicker missed one that was easy early on. So, I mean, he's standing there talking like he just won the game, and I'm just like, oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. Well, and he's like, yeah, I fumbled a couple of times, but my team believes in me. These people believe it. He was talking all that quarterback speak, right? He was just really talking like he won the game. You didn't win the game. You didn't win the game, man. I've been a supporter of Justin Fields. He didn't win the game,
but getting wins in the NFL is hard enough. If you get one and they put the microphone in your face, yeah, I mean, be grateful for the victory.
I'd be honest. I'd be like, you know what? I don't even deserve to be standing here right now. You should go talk to the kicker. The kicker won the game.
Well,
4 field goals won the game.
Justin Fields has to walk the line of. He has to believe his career is not over. I mean, the Bears seem to be moving in a different direction than him. But you start saying I don't deserve to be here. People are going to take that as, oh, you don't have confidence either.
It looked last night like they were moving in exactly the same direction. A bad one.
A bad direction. But do they blame him for that, or do they think the quarterback fixes that? I happen to think that you take another quarterback and slot him in there, the Bears might do better. But that doesn't make them good.
Yeah. So when you look at everything, you got that coach, Eberflus, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Fields, and you got the Bears team. Who you blaming? You were forced to watch this thing and endure the misery at the gym. You had no choice. So who do you the blame really goes here, not there? Who you blaming?
I mean,
Fields?
If you don't score touchdowns, that's on everybody, man. Like I can't blame just one person. It's not, it would be nice, but I can't blame just one person. Your whole team scored 12 points. And it's only because the other team was so also inept at scoring that you were able to win the game. Yeah, Justin Fields is at fault for the way they looked, but so is everything else about that team that I've sort of been complaining about for a long time.
I have a suggestion for everyone here who's a parent. If you have children, keep a copy of this game to make your kids watch as a punishment. I feel it would be very effective. It was bad. And by the way, both sides, the Vikings fans and the Bears fans, angry about the officiating. There's a little bit about that in every game. But last night, the officiating was exceptionally bad. On one hand, there were missed intentional grounding. I think Addison, didn't have a catch when he had a catch, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And then Kyler Gordon, his face mask came off. Why did his face mask come off? Gee, I wonder why. Somebody was probably grabbing his face mask. But then when his face mask was dangling off his helmet, he takes the helmet off. He's like, oh, what the heck? They gave him a 15-yard penalty for taking off the helmet. And they even said, no, it's damaged. Look at it. And they're like, don't care. 15-yard penalty. It's like, do you have money on the Vikings? What the hell is going on here?
And then Justin Fields took a couple of helmet-to-helmet shots.
I didn't see those.
A couple of shots straight to his head. That's just, even as a runner, you don't get to be, hitting the head with another person's helmet. We've already decided this, but he didn't get the call.
I guess I just let it go. If we do anything, it'll slow down the game.
I'm sure. I'm just saying. I'm watching Chandler Jones on Instagram, just babbling like a crazy person, and I don't know the head trauma stuff. Maybe take that seriously.
Lost Toby says that punishment, Jeffrey, violates the Geneva Conventions. I'm sure it does. I'm sure you're right, but I think it's very effective. Not everything that the Geneva Convention says you shouldn't do. A lot of that stuff is very effective. Just saying. So that wasn't very cool right there. Hey, good news, Vikings fans. Justin Jefferson is activated from injured reserve today, not yesterday.
What he would have actually been helpful. Yeah.
You lost to the Bears.
It's just, I don't know. I still think the Commanders lost to the Bears is more embarrassing. But when the Bears only score 12 and you don't beat that, that's embarrassing.
Field goals.
Yeah.
Chief Skull says Minnesota has a respectful 4 Super Bowls, no wins, 2 World Series wins, 2 Stanley Cups, no wins. It is the Minnesota North Stars. Not awesome, but respectful. I think it's San Francisco 49ers. I think he should make his kid a 49er fan. They have been good and they've been bad, and they go up and they go down. But they have a great history, Donnie. I think you might want to make your kid a San Francisco 49ers fan. I think that's probably
it'll guarantee that we won't like him, but he'll be happy.
Yeah.
He'll see some rings maybe.
602 Pats fan says, yeah, I really did think the Patriots were going to be better than 2-8, but Patriots are tanking. They're really tanking. After 20 years of being good, Belichick said, F it, we're tanking the season. Yeah, I told you. Pro Dog says, how many teams tied for first place in the fan pick'em contest? How many teams? There's no teams. There's people making picks, and I'll talk about that when we come back from this next break. The Jet says, has anybody checked on School to see how he's doing today? What? School?
I think he means Chief Skull.
He just texted. He's right there.
So,
but checked on School. Skull doesn't. There's like a texter that it was just Skull, and he doesn't text in anymore. I think he's too busy at work or something. So, all right, we got to take a break. When we come back, I will let you know, Pro Dog, who is in the lead in our Harmon Solar NFL Fan Pick'em contest. Give you the weekly award for our fantasy football high score and other things. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. The best way to start betting smarter is to sign up for a free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe.
NFL Week 13, the Arizona Cardinals will head to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Cardinals are 2-10. They're a 5.5-point road underdog, plus 198 on the money line. The Steelers are 7-4, minus 240 at Acrisure Stadium, with an over/under of 40.5. The Dallas Cowboys opening up Week 13 with a Thursday night game at home against the Seattle Seahawks. The Cowboys are favored by 9 points, minus 430. Seattle plus 340 with an over/under at 46.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Oh, this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
No, I'm getting a cold.
Honey. Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Jeffrey O'Brien here, and congratulations. You just made it through the hottest summer in Arizona history. No lie. The only proof you need is in that electric bill. If you don't have solar, I wonder how bad it's going to get next year. You need to call Harmon Solar today. Harmon Solar could save you over 80% off your electric bills. They're a locally owned, family-owned company. Call Harmon Solar for a free estimate. 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmonsolar.com.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Greg Clark Automotive Specialist, located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley automobiles for 44 years. And we're offering our fall inspection on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Also, our brake service inspection, recommended every year to prevent repairs and ensure top performance. For guaranteed family touch service, contact us at 602-246-2881. Highly rated by Google. Online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention the Fanatic to get 10% off.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona Sports Betting Station 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hey, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Hey, kids, we got a couple of pairs of tickets for Wednesday's ASU basketball game against Sam Houston State. Each pair gets a parking pass. So a pair of tickets and a parking pass. We'll be giving that away here in a little bit. So be listening for your chance to call in and win and enjoy the game and enjoy the short walk to your car. 888-368-1580. So, all right, here's what we're doing. I'm going to tell you right now the results of the Harmon Solar NFL Fan Pick'em contest. And no need for a fanfare on this. It's Bearded Ginger. Bearded Ginger got 13 right on this week. And I'll tell you what's happening right now. A lot of people got a lot right this week, especially in our crew. I had 13 as well. See, Ralph had 12. Keon, you only had 10. You were the lowest man on the totem pole this time, because Randy and Radio Ron both had 11 right. So, by the way, you and Ralph are tied in the standings.
Yeah.
You gave up too much ground, and now here he is tied neck and neck with you.
Yeah, I mean, I was only up by a couple, though. So
105 right for Keon and Ralph. Radio Ron has 111. I have 117 right, and I am in 11th place. I have crawled up with a good week in the standings on this. So at least you can see my name now.
You're on the first page.
Yeah, it took me the entire damn season to get here too. It wasn't an easy one, but yeah, we had a pretty good week here for the picks. And Choro, who had been riding in first place for quite some time, he has dropped into third place. Germ is good 20 and Bacher 44. They are both tied for first right now with 122 right. Choro has 121. Raider Royce has 120. Brett Maverick has 119. Fighting Wampa and the Raven Kid and Shooter McGavin, they all have 118. And then down here at the bottom, Flying Monkeys, Hefty Lefty, and I we got 117 right there. So that's where things currently stand with the Harmon Solar NFL Fan Pick'em contest. It gets easier and it gets harder this time of year. By easier, you have a better sense of what the teams are going to do, who's going to win, who's going to lose. There's always going to be upsets, but this is an easier time because now you're more familiar and you have more information. You know a little bit better what's going to happen. When you get to the playoffs, it gets even easier. And then it gets harder. Why? It's harder to gain ground because as it becomes more obvious who is going to win and who's going to lose, well, everybody knows this. So for Choro or Raider Royce or Brett Maverick to kind of shuffle their way back up into first place, it's not as easy. It's not as easy. So this is, it is also, though, as much as it's not easy, a miracle can happen. Say next week, somebody down lower has a perfect week and a bunch of those other guys have not so perfect weeks. You could see the whole thing flip-flop. Once you're in the playoffs, though, that doesn't generally happen. But right now, in the next couple of weeks, this is your time to be making moves. You know what I'm saying? So if you're down a little bit lower, but you're within reach, take some chances on some of your picks. Do what you got to do. So, all right, Bearded Ginger had 13. And now let's go on to the fantasy football portion of this. And my wife had the highest point total of anybody, possibly this entire season. Have we had higher than 207.65, Keon? I don't know if I've said
off the top of my head. I don't think so.
I should have been tracking that. I track everything else in a spreadsheet, but I haven't been tracking that. I don't remember saying 207.65. That it was just, she said, if I'd played another guy differently, it would have been way more. I was like, oh,
my God, embarrassment of riches right there.
So in League 7, Beer Blossoms with 207.65. And runner up on that, and I think it's impressive, and I'll tell you why. Bayonet Barbie in League 12 had 190. So for the top two scorers in all of the Daily Blender fantasy football leagues to be gals, just tells you something, doesn't it? It just tells you something. Doesn't matter if you're a male or a female, fantasy football is for everybody. Tiger Paws says, hey, by the way, that Brett Maverick guy, that's my brother. Oh, cool. Okay, that's good to know. Good for Brett Maverick. He's doing great this year. And she says, Josh Allen put up 50 points in one of my teams sitting on the bench again. Oh, man. What do you mean one of your teams? You only have one Daily Blender fantasy football team. Where else are you playing, Tiger Paws? How many teams do you have? Respect on that. But, bad for you. I'm sorry about the Josh Allen thing. I am sorry. Donnie says, now do best fantasy records. Well, Donnie, I don't know that it's you. You fell out a long time ago. Donnie is in League 5, and I think he is 11-1. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know if anybody else has a better record or not than that. You got defeated before the last person got, defeated. The last undefeated person got undefeated. I'll tell you what, Donnie, I'll take a look and see if you have the best record, and I will give you a tip of the hat on that. I got to give Donnie something. Nothing in his life is turning out right.
Oh, no.
Nothing. He's about to have no sleep at all when that baby comes. His Minnesota teams keep letting him down. I feel like he needs a win. You know what I'm saying? Feel like he could use a win. So right now I'm going to check. I'm going through all the teams right now. A lot of 9-3s. A lot of 9-3s. Here's 11-1. Fecal missed. And he's over in League 8. So sorry. Well, I'll tell you what, Donnie. I'll tell you what I'll even do. I'll give you a shot at having the best record and the highest point total. Okay, we'll give you a chance on that. Let's see here. 9-3, 10-1. Oh, Scoldgers. That's you, Donnie. That's you in League 5. And let's see. 8-4. Wow, that league's rough. 10-2. Baby Got Dak. So Baby Got Dak is doing pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, this is great radio. Sorry, everybody. No, that's it. That's it. Even in the Premier League, Thundar, the Barbarian, he is 10-2. So that leaves us with Donnie and Fecal Mist. Fecal Mist has 1,809.9 points for. Donnie has 1,742. With that, Donnie, you are in second place. I feel like it was kind of worth doing that just then. I feel like that was a good use of my time.
For all of us.
Donnie's in second place.
So maybe no good news after all.
Sorry, Donnie. Oh, Chosen One says, I happen to lose to your wife with that high score this week. That being said, I didn't clinch first place and a first round bye. Well, we're not ready for playoffs yet. That playoffs don't start next week, do they? I think the playoffs start the week after this week. I think. I don't know. Tiger Paws has 3 different fantasy football teams. I wonder what the average is for most people. You know what I'm saying? You're only allowed to have 1 in the Daily Blender fantasy football leagues, but I do wonder, what is the average in the country for fantasy football teams? Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you're listening here, why don't you text in just the number of how many fantasy football teams you have. Some people I know have 10. The king of fantasy football, he had like 12, but he's a professional, so that kind of made sense. Chief Skull says Vikings offense was offensive last night. Defense was very good. It was more reminiscent of a black and blue division defensive battle. I hated the outcome, but was justified the way the offense played. Josh Dobbs made dumb mistakes. Going to BYU, quarterback won't help. The only 2 good BYU quarterbacks were Young and McMahon, so I don't expect Hall to do much. There's an awful lot going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Fighting Wampa says, so Keon, you don't like Niner fans, eh? Well, I hope your butthole itches all night.
Well, that's
a first.
That is a
That
first.
is a first.
No one has ever wished that on me. That's true. And I don't know. When I came out here, my perception, because I'm coming from the East Coast, was Raider fans were going to be awful to me, but Niner fans were going to be pretty cool. And without me ever opening my mouth, Niner fans were the worst people to me. I do not have good interactions with Niner fans.
There was a stretch, huh?
And I've met complete random Raider fans at bars, and they have been the most kind people, most down to earth people. I don't know how it is at the stadium. Maybe
it's dangerous at the stadium.
Maybe they're stabbier there, but not at a Buffalo Wild Wings. That's all I'm saying. And
Raider fans at the stadium will literally poke holes in that theory. But when I've met Raider fans outside of it, they've been
they've been great. Whereas, even on this show, the meanest people are Niner fans. Even when the Niners are good, you can't get Niner fans off your back. You can compliment Niner fans. You can even pick their team to win, and they will still tell you that you are the worst person ever. So yeah, I don't have great interactions with Niner fans. Ergo, I do not like Niner fans.
Fighting Wampa, does your butthole itch all night? It just seems like a very specific thing right there to put on someone.
Just like it just seems like a little project. Maybe it's happening to you, and you just thought someone else should suffer with you. Which I'm willing to suffer with you in other ways, but I shower, so that's not really a problem I have. So
yeah, that'll probably be enough.
Yeah.
Beer Bob says, I think there has been higher scoring baseball games between the White Sox and the Twins than the score of that NFL game last night. That was hard to watch. I feel sorry for the sucker at the bar that bet the cover. Dear God, yes. A lot of people are very upset about that. I didn't even think about the gambling aspect of how bad that was. Just another face in the crowd says, I think Belichick is trying to give the Patriots a nice departing gift. A very good draft pick. Oh, no. You'll see this was all part of his master plan. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Do you know what the over-under was on the Bears-Vikings game? It was 43.5. Just weren't even close.
Yeah, that was an easy under. Bugger Wolf says, I guess plumbers aren't the only guys following turds around. Just ask any Vikings fan. And then he says, go Niners. Navy Brad says the game video should be used as the new stay off drugs advertisement. No, that actually would drive a lot of people to take drugs.
Yeah. Because once you see that and you realize that life is pointless, you're going straight to whatever drug or the bottle or whatever thing you're using. There.
Can I have 6 pounds of fentanyl, please? So Tiger Paws told us earlier she was in 3 fantasy football leagues, and I asked everybody just to type in and tell me what the numbers were on theirs. I'm accidentally in 2. I didn't want to be in 2. I wanted to be in 1, But then I was needed in League 14, so I took over the commissioner team there. So I guess I'm in 2. Biscuits and Gravy is in 3. Keon, how many are you in outside of Blender?
I'm in 1.
Yeah,
I'm in the
good on
Blender
you.
League. Yeah.
Chosen One says, well, I meant to say was I did clinch the first round because of my record. When did the playoffs start in our fantasy football league?
I think in a couple of weeks.
Hey, hold on. It's supposed to be, I thought. This is
week 13.
Right?
Week 14 is also another regular season week. And then week 15 looks like the playoffs.
You are correct. Yes. So week 15 is the playoff start. Week 14 is not. Yeah, that looks normal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait a minute. Wait, there shouldn't be 6 games. Oh, yeah, there's 6 games because we have 12 teams. All right. Keon's right. Okay. Fish Tank has 3 fantasy football leagues, and Chief Skull has 1. He says, I suck at that, as my record shows, so I should be trying more leagues. Mr. Pringle says, I wake up and whiz excellence. I'm in 12 leagues. First place in 10 of them. Third place in the other 2. How many Daily Blender fantasy football leagues are you in, Pringle? I want to know, kind of curious how your standings are in Daily Blender. Lost Toby says, I never did anything to you, Keon. Why would he say that?
Because of Niner fans, and he's a Niner fan.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know. I didn't say you specifically, just generally. If I in any interaction I have with Niners fans, 8 out of 10 of them are interactions I wish I didn't have. That's all.
Niner Napolis says, I appreciate you and your takes, Keon, and I hope you have no butt problems in your future. See, there's a Niner fan being nice.
Yeah, appreciate that.
He wishes you an itch-free butthole.
So it's gonna balance out, and I'll be okay.
Moist One says, I can't read that. That's pretty good though. Raven Kid says, I got 13 fantasy teams. You must have so much time.
Yeah. How do you even enjoy it? I mean, how do you keep them straight in your head? The max I will do is 2.
Pickle D says, I'm in 12 leagues this year. Tiger Paws says, I'm in 5 where you pick the team straight up. I don't know what that means. What do you mean where you pick the team straight up? Like, are you talking about like legacy leagues? Booger Wolf says, the only thing the Vikings are going to clinch this year is their cheeks right after they miss the playoffs. Go Niners. Just another face in the crowd says, may your butthole itch all night long. That sounds like an Arabian curse Klinger would put on somebody. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Keon, you don't know. You never watched MASH.
I watched a little MASH. I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head.
He was the dude in the dress with a rifle.
Yeah.
That was trying to get sent home for being crazy. But they're like, nah, we don't believe you. And he spent the entirety of that show walking around with a rifle and a dress. I think it was an inspiration to a lot of people. 0 teams in the Daily Blender League, says Mr. Pringle. Raven Kid says, shouldn't Niner fans be thanking you, Keon? Your team gave them their amazing head coach.
Yeah, no, well, maybe Niner fans, but at that point, it's like half the league should just be thanking Washington
for a variety of reasons.
The Rams got a coach, McVay. The Packers got LaFleur. The Niners got Shanahan. Yeah, just let talented guys just walk out of the building all the time. It's the Washington way.
Navy Brad says, that's Jamie Farr. Yeah, who did I say it was? The character's name is Klinger. What? Did I say the wrong name?
I think you said the character's name. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God, you people are paying. Donnie says he's in 2 leagues, Fanatic, and one that's $25 a loss. Keeps everyone engaged. Been running for 6 years now. Wow.
A loss?
No, I wouldn't play in that.
No. Just be.
Baby got Dax in 3 leagues, and she says, Keon, they got a cream for your itchy butthole, just so you know.
If the curse comes true, I'll have to turn to that.
You might want to have some handy, just in case. Cheese Skull says 49er fans suck, along with all Boston team fans. Wow, that's not very nice. Berg is a Boston team fan. Sometimes he sucks. But not all the
because you
time.
got Berg and Evil Berg.
Yeah,
Evil Berg can suck. Just regular Berg is fine. He's cool.
And Berg came on, and of course now you're going to be He says, "Afternoon, guys. How about them Vikings?" So yeah, I guess.
And there's Evil Berg.
Yeah, there you go. Chiefs score. All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back, get back on the text line, and let's talk about some football stuff. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole bunch of not tools, from dancing Santas to plastic trees. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we'd rather sell you a 4-horsepower chainsaw fitted with a full chisel chain to cut down your own tree. And we have wood chippers come January, because mulch. We're cutting prices on your favorite brands this holiday season. Save on Milwaukee, Ingersoll Rand, and Metaltech in-store or at northerntool.com.
Hey, Jeffrey O'Brien here. And listen, a lot of us play fantasy football this time of year, and it's fun. But what you should be playing is fantasy electric bills. What's that? It's where you get with Harman Solar, and they save you over 80% off your electric bill every month. Then, each time you open up that bill, you're going to feel like you just won a championship. Call Harman Solar today. Get a free estimate. 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmansolar.com.
Greg Clark Automotive Specialist, located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley automobiles for 44 years. And we're offering our fall inspection on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Also, our brake service inspection, recommended every year to prevent repairs and ensure top performance. For guaranteed family touch service, contact us at 602-246-2881. Highly rated by Google. Online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention the Fanatic to get 10% off.
Do you know about 211 Arizona? It's a free service to connect you with resources anywhere in Arizona. Housing assistance and eviction prevention, transportation and ride services, healthcare benefits, food resources, and even utility bill support. Talk to a live operator in English or Spanish, 24 hours a day, every day of the year. Just dial 211 or visit 211arizona.org. Get connected, get answers, and get the help you need. This message is sponsored by 211 Arizona.
Greg Clark Automotive Specialist, located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley automobiles for 44 years. And we're offering our fall inspection on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Also, our brake service inspection, recommended every year to prevent repairs and ensure top performance. For guaranteed family touch service, contact us at 602-246-2881. Highly rated by Google. Online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention the Fanatic to get 10% off.
This is Brent Musburger. Don't miss Pro Football Blitz, Saturday afternoons, right here on Arizona's sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. Fish Tanks on the text line, and he says, this radio show over the last 3 years or so has made me an active Vikings hater. I just can't figure out how it happened, though. Well, I think I can. I think your exchanges with Donnie on the Twitterverse might have something to do with that. Fish Tank and Donnie have some epic exchanges. I just don't understand why everybody on the text line isn't on the Twitter following everybody else, because then you could take your fights outside. That's what Donnie and Fish Tank did. They found each other outside on Twitter, and it's very entertaining. I've got to say, you should almost be a requirement that if you're on the text line, you should also be on Twitter, and we should all be following each other so we can watch the mayhem, because it's been good. It's been so damn good. Fish Tank is just owning Donnie, and then Donnie throws some complete nonsense at him that you can't even argue with. It's really fun. It's really fun. Because the Fish Tank is like showing stuff that Donnie said and going receipts, and then Donnie just then tweets Fish Tank and says receipts, and Fish Tank's, wait, no, that's not how it works. Just confusing everybody. I think it'd be a lot of fun if more people followed us on Twitter and then followed all these other guys on Twitter. Everybody should be following everybody. It's part of the fun here. And well, if you want to follow Keon, do you want these people to follow you?
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Well, tell them where to find you.
I am at SportsCloud 1580. on the Twitters.
And I am Radio Pal 1580 on the Twitters. And Randy is Radio Randy 777 because for some reason
because he chose those numbers and
he doesn't know how to change them.
That's the thing. He can't change them. He doesn't know how.
Yeah.
And unless you are literally standing over his shoulder, he has no interest in you telling him how.
Yeah, I've really got to try to remember to help him with that. Right. I'll do it right before we retire.
And it bothers everyone else more than it bothers him. So he has no incentive to try and change.
Yeah, it ain't that important, I guess. Although it might help everybody find us.
Yeah.
And then Ralph, his is private, so yeah, I don't know. You'd have to.
Yeah, so if Ralph follows you, that's how you know you've made it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. I don't know if he follows anybody, but I'm trying to find him
because I know Ralph and Big George go back and forth a little bit and some other stuff. So it happens.
Well, Ralph has 34 followers on the tweeters because it's private. So, but if you want to, you can try CEEHWK Seahawk. So it's CEEHWK. You can follow Ralph there. So outside of that, the rest of you, if you follow Keon and I and you start the conversation, then people who follow us can go through our list of people who follow us and then find you. And then, also just in conversations. So that's how I guess social media works. I'm not very good at it. I'm just not. I have not cared enough to be good at it, And then there like new stuff shows up and I'm just like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. I mean, it's dumb. I mean, if I weren't doing this show and then trying to have this conversation with the texters and having fun like that, I'd personally have no use for it. Personally. But this is too fun though, and Donnie and Fish Tank go at each other.
Oh yeah, no, I don't
Big
even.
George starts his crap out there, and
just grab my bag of popcorn and watch.
Oh yeah, and then it's fun to watch you get drugged down, into conversations that you don't want to be in, because it happens. It does happen. I've been currently thinking that maybe I was taunting Keon on Twitter, and he's just like, no, yeah, that's true. About Jordan Poole. Every day I'm posting up a new video of Jordan Poole looking like an idiot. And the newest one was, again, another move. And he puts up this little cup shot, and then somebody just swats his crap into the next zip code.
And he had an open jumper. If he had just shot the jumper as soon as he crossed over the guy and made him fall over, if he just shoots the jumper, he probably scores 2 points. But then he goes for the underhand scoop layup and just gets absolutely destroyed.
Well, he was too busy staring down Cade Cunningham. He didn't see Asar Thompson coming to swat his crap. He's like, oh, I guess that's what happens. What is wrong with you?
And then Jordan Poole, who was having a pretty good game up until that point, would not score again.
Even when your team wins, Keon. Jordan Poole loses.
Yeah. No, Jordan Poole's hilarious. He is one of the, I mean, he's a guy that won a championship, and you think, okay, the championship pedigree is what you're getting. A guy that knows how to win a ring, knows how to be a part of an organization that's a winning organization. And he has been anything but that. He might be one of the hardest to coach and impulsive, dumbest guys on the team. He's bad in the locker room. Oh, there are just so many things. But the Wizards planned on tanking this year. I just don't think that they thought Jordan Poole was going to be the guy to help them.
Well, Jordan Poole is just an infinite source of entertainment. At least at the moment.
To me, I mean, it's if the Wizards are going to be bad, and the Wizards are almost always bad, then at least be interesting bad, be funny bad, and that's what they are. So I'm not complaining.
Man, he's like got half a good highlight reel. If you were just to stop all of those clips right before the bad part, you'd be like, "Well, this guy's pretty good.
He's
awesome.
Like
He means business out there. This is really good." Hey, okay. Let me get caught up on the text line here. But there's a bunch of stuff that happened in sports that wasn't football that we do need to talk about. So amazingly bad and good things. But let's see here. I got a lot of catching up to do. Mr. Pringle says, I have proven methods that work. Only a couple of rules. One of them, never auto draft. Yeah. Well, it wasn't my choice to auto draft. It was Rosalie's to auto draft, and I whooped her pretty good. Yeah, 40-point win on her. So I think I'm undefeated against Rosalie Michaels the last few years. That's impressive because she is a fantasy football expert. Not impressive because out of the last 10 years, she has beaten me like a drum most of the time. I've just had a good run the last couple of years. Before that, she was like, I'm undefeated against Jeffrey. And I believed it because I was getting beat all the time. Then I went back and saw the actual records. Turned out it wasn't true. And then I exposed her for that. But really, minus that one win I had 10 years ago and these last 2 years, she has such a comfortable record over me. She could let me beat her for a couple more years and she'd still have a winning record on me. But I was very happy to get the sweep this year on regular season against her. Tiger Paws says, okay, I'm confused. I think you're confusing pick'em contests for fantasy football, Tiger Paws. Raven Kid says, I don't know what seems to be the problem. I usually have great conversations with Fish Tank and Donnie on Twitter. Well, you're too annoying to realize it. So you probably don't have a really accurate view of yourself. I think that could be it. But no, you're Raven Kid's pretty cool on Twitter. He's pretty cool on Twitter. He starts crap too. Don't act like you don't start crap, kid. Moist One says, I don't want anyone to see who I follow. Yeah, nobody wants to know you follow them. Kiss the Cook says, take your pants off and drag your butt across the carpet, Keon. That might help. Oh, with your itchy butthole problem.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't believe in curses, so I think I'm in the clear, but we'll see.
The Jet says, you can follow me on Twitter at my realtor, Jeremy. Who the hell's Jeremy? Chief Skull says, I appreciate Fish Tank regardless of his Vikings hate, and even Berg and his hate for mustard. That is the strangest hatred ever. He hates a condiment so bad. And it's just like, well, so what? Don't let everybody else have mustard that wants mustard. What's your problem, Berg? He just very much, and I want to bet against him. Was this before you or after you got here? You seem very distracted by what's happening on that computer over there.
It was before I got here.
Yeah, I got a
heard
video of
about
him eating a mustard hot dog. And he still does it for charity every now and then. Lost Toby says, I'm in 3 leagues. And he says, I'm 8-4, I'm 6-6, I'm 3-9. I try to draft similar teams, but it doesn't work out. If you're in multiple teams, don't draft similar teams because that means all of your teams go the same way, good or bad. Lost Toby says, Ralph's isn't private. He says, you can follow me, by the way, it's Caesar B tweeting at Caesar B tweeting. Lost Toby. Do you follow me on the Twitter? I don't know if you do. Swazman says, oh, Keon's first round auto draft of Cooper Kupp. Oof. Turned out to be a big bust.
We don't have to talk about it. It's been one of the worst things that's happened to me this entire season because Christian McCaffrey would have literally won me games that I lost. But that's fine.
It's probably true.
That's fine.
Booger Wolf says Dolphin fans don't watch games on TV. They're too busy brushing their mullets and listening to Def Leppard. King Kitten says Gold Bond lotion for the win. Okay. I don't even know what to say to that, to be honest.
Me neither. All right.
So as fun as Jordan Poole is to watch, I had a lot of fun watching the fight. 10 guys got ejected in a game, and it was just spectacular to watch the YouTube video. First off, a fight started between a couple of the Tkachuk brothers, right? Ottawa's Brady and Florida's Dimitri. These guys are brothers, and they are chirping at each other and talking and whatever and pushing each other around, right? And so the grandma was standing in the stands, and she looked mad. So those boys needed to behave. And then immediately after, the fight start. 10 guys got ejected. Everyone on the ice was thrown out for 10 minutes. I've never seen anything like it. But if you watch the video, you're like, no, that's fair. That is fair. That everybody needed to be thrown out for that. It was a pretty good fight. And then every time they had refs in the middle of it. And then one guy sitting there talking to another, and then the fist would come out of nowhere. They hit a guy in the face, and the whole thing would start all over again. Oh, this is not an NBA fight. That was a real deal. I enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And everybody was pressed up against the boards behind the goalie. That was great. That was so good.
I got to check that out. I have never seen anything like that either. I can honestly say.
You're right, Moise won. Matthew and Brady. I'm sorry, it was Dmitry Kulikov that was chasing Brady on a breakaway. That's what it was. And then he got pushed in the boards. I'm sorry, my eyes saw the two names differently. Well done. But yeah, Matthew and Brady, they probably got their asses whipped pretty solid by Grandma. If you saw the tape, she was not happy standing up there. Just another face in the crowd. 10-minute ejection with 7 minutes left. Well, that's being thrown out of the game, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's go find it. Go find it. We'll talk more about it when we come back because some texters have more to say about it. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
Hey, Ralph, got another solar question for you.
Okay, but did you check out the Harmon Solar Podcast first?
The what?
The Harmon Solar Podcast. We put new episodes up twice a month that teach you all the things you ever wanted to learn about solar. We discuss things like how solar works, the roofing, sales process, demand management, everything solar.
Show like this needs some real smart thinkers, huh?
Well, yeah.
So you got some really great guests then, huh?
Almost every show.
Is it on Spotify?
Yep.
iTunes?
Yep. Just search it everywhere. It's the Harmon Solar Podcast. Go check it out at harmonsolar.com.
Hey everybody, Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends over at the Lund Mortgage Team. You know, the Lund Mortgage Team has been doing their thing for over 2 decades in the Valley, helping thousands of people in Arizona save money on their loans, get the best rate. They're mortgage brokers. They can shop it around for you. And now more than ever, it is so important to have a mortgage professional that's been around, that's seen the high rates, low rates, everything in between, because look, there's no sugarcoating what's going on right now. The rates are higher. However, the supply and demand, the whole how many houses are for sale in Arizona and what's going on, it's gone in favor of the buyer now. So if you're going to buy a new home, it is important to go and get that rate. Whatever that rate is, it's not going to be your forever rate. That's important to think about. So lock it in, get the house of your dreams, and move on. But let the people at the Lund Mortgage Team do their job. All the heavy lifting from start to finish. They'll find you the best rate out there. Call 623-875-9940, 623-875-9940, or online, lundmortgage.com.
Greg Clark Automotive Specialist, located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley automobiles for 44 years. And we're offering our fall inspection on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Also, our brake service inspection, recommended every year to prevent repairs and ensure top performance. For guaranteed family touch service, contact us at 602-246-2881. Highly rated by Google. Online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention the Fanatic to get 10% off.
Don't be fooled by the people you meet on social media. It may start as an innocent conversation, but anyone who tries to sell you pills is nothing more than a drug dealer. And if you think tiny pills can't do much harm, think again. Fentanyl can end it all. Know the truth about fentanyl at learnmoreaz.org. Don't be fooled. Don't be faked out. Visit learnmoreaz.org. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale.
This is KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K240U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
For what? Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock. You're on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside not Randy White. I think he'll be back tomorrow. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And before the break, we were talking about that Panthers-Senators brawl. 13 different penalties, 10 guys, pretty much everyone on the ice got put in the penalty box for 10 minutes, which, by the way, can they fit that many guys in the penalty box? I mean, it's virtually an ejection because a 10-minute ejection with 7 minutes left, like Justin of the Face in the Crowd points out. Well, that's just an ejection. So was that in the last period? Was that in the third? Yeah, it was. It was in the third. So yeah, that was the end of the game for those guys. Do you sit in the penalty box or do you just go back to the locker room? I'm not sure. But yeah, so I guess the Kachuk brothers, they had some words and they were chippy. Chief Scholes says, yeah, they were John. I wanted to see them fight. Oh, that would be amazing. Oh man, grandma probably would have jumped the boards and been out there, on the ice coming after him. That woman did not look like she was taking crap from anybody, especially her grandsons. But yeah, so Kachuk made contact with the goalie. And here's the thing about that. That was on purpose. He actually swung back to make sure he made contact with the goalie. And then, of course, Kulikov wasn't too thrilled about that. And, of course, the entire Panthers team came over and started beating on Kachuk. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of guys from the other team beating on one guy. So then here comes the rest of everybody. And it was a good brawl. I enjoyed it. I really did. And so many penalties, so much that happened there. Go find the video. I feel like a lot of people probably did just go find the video, and you'll know it was absolutely worth watching. Fish Tank watched it. He says, my favorite part of that fight was the picture of the remaining guys sitting on the bench with the caption, this looks like a 11 p.m. beer league hockey team sitting there, because both teams looked like they only had about 4 guys left. Yeah. That was just so much fun. That was so much fun. The Panthers just completely destroyed the Senators 5-0, by the way. Booger Wolf, he says every time a Dolphins fan goes to the restroom, a new worm is born. Okay, Booger Wolf, I'm not going to read your text anymore. You're just shooting shots at Dolphins fans for absolutely no reason I can think of. Are they playing the Dolphins this weekend? Are the 49ers playing the Dolphins? Is that why he's attacking? I just don't understand.
Well, no, because the Commanders are playing the Dolphins. So I know that it's not a Niners thing.
Navy Brad says, with that video, I can see the Hanson brothers in the background offering foil for the hens. Unnamed texter says, go look up old Red Wings Avalanche fights around 95, 96. You want to see more like that. Goalies even got involved. I think weren't the goalies involved in this one? I thought maybe.
I don't know, actually.
Yeah, that's a good point. Only 10 guys got thrown out. I mean, it's a good point. Unnamed texter. 888-368-1580. So, yeah, go look up Panthers Senators brawl, and you will thank me for it. Berg says, Keon, a.k.a. surprise attack in the Premier League. It's not Keon.
I have played that person in the Premier League before. I am not in the Premier League. I am not surprise attack dogs. That is a different guy.
On him, Berg.
Why would you
flex on the guy who's in dead last?
I have no idea. We are not the same person. That's a different guy. What are we doing?
I really feel bad for surprise attack dogs. I really do.
But somebody's got to be last.
Well, yeah, but 1 in 11. I have to go back and make sure he's even still conscious. But it looks like he is, because he has a range. I can tell that he's been changing his lineup.
The Premier League is the toughest league because you do have those 12 teams. So when you don't have the best draft.
Oh, no, he's checked out.
Oh, he's checked out?
Oh, okay. He's checked out.
Because if you don't have the best draft, and you fall behind, then it's just like, okay, well, who do you get?
Week 10, he left Patrick Mahomes on a bye week along with Jalen Waddle, and it doesn't look like he has changed his lineup since week 1. I don't know if he's ever been there.
That's definitely not me, because, say what you want about my actual wins and losses. I play the damn game, man.
How dare you say I auto draft and I don't play? Boxer Screws says, ooh, I think I'm the one in that a 1 in 11. Oh, you lost to the guy who's not even there. Oh, that hurts. That hurts, Boxer Screws.
That's a bad week. Ooh.
Chief Skull says Eagleberg in full flex today. Yeah, he is in full flex. That's true. Lost Toby says Niners are playing the Eagles. That should be a good game. Yeah, I believe you are correct. That might be the best game of the week. Let's take a look. Let me get the schedule up here. And let's see if we can all come together and decide which is the best game of the week. And I did take a quick look at it the other day, and that one is one of the games that jumped up, and that is on Sunday afternoon. Eagles hosting the 49ers. Let's see. It's a lot of these. Denver and Houston, that'll be an interesting game on Sunday morning, just because you're just curious about the Broncos and you're curious about how CJ Stroud. Right now, I lean towards picking the Texans. But then again, it's a different Denver Broncos team all of a sudden. I'm not even going to talk to you about Miami and Washington. We're not even talking about that right now.
Why? Why do we have
welcome.
to?
You're welcome, Keith. You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Why do we have to?
You're welcome.
We know what the outcome of the game is going to be. Is the Dolphins winning? We know how bad they're going to beat the Commanders by a lot. What's there to talk about, honestly?
Thursday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys hosting the Seahawks. That's interesting. You would assume Dallas will stomp the Seahawks, but then Dallas has a way of losing. You know what I'm saying? So that could be good.
They do. I just haven't seen, a lot out of Geno the last handful of weeks. Like, he's been good, he's been tough, but he hasn't been the Geno that played last year. That guy was another level for Geno Smith, who is still good. He's still a starter, but I think they need him to be a whole lot better.
A lot of bad matchups for Week 13. Jacksonville and Bengals. Well, the Bengals don't have a quarterback now, so Kansas City and Green Bay. Yeah, that's not great. That's Sunday Night Football, by the way. 49ers and Eagles, good game. Rams and Browns. Panthers and Tampa Bay. Denver and Houston. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Miami and Washington. I'm sorry for your loss. Cardinals and Pittsburgh. Jets and Falcons. Lions and Saints.
I mean, that's not it's not a gross matchup, but is it going to be fun? No, I don't think it'll be fun.
Chargers and Patriots. I threw up my mouth a little bit.
Just
Colts and Titans. And I'm a fan of the Colts. And then so Seahawks and Dallas, 49ers and Eagles. Those are the two most interesting matchups, and I'm going to say best game of the week. Saturday afternoon, 49ers and Eagles. So there you go, 49ers fans. You have the best game of the week, which I do believe, at least at this moment, you will lose. Because the Eagles they are the only real elite team we have right now.
And I don't even, I hesitate to say that.
Yeah, I didn't. Said it right out my mouth.
Yeah, I don't know that they're elite. I don't think we have any in the league. But the Eagles,
like they're 10-1.
Yeah, but I don't base that just based on record, because you can get 10-1 based on who you've played. And when you play, the
Eagles have had some tests. They don't act like they haven't.
They have, but I've still seen some things against teams that are worse than them, where they go in there and score a lot of points on Philadelphia. Philly finds ways to win. They've got a number of different ways that they can beat you, but I would still, if I had to choose between the Niners and the Eagles, I would still say the Niners are better. Yeah, I mean, the Niners had to deal with more injuries than the Eagles have.
The Eagles find ways to win.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry. Listen, I'm always pulling for Brock Purdy. I am. I like Brock Purdy, and that team is loaded. You're right. But across this board, I just gotta feel comfortable with the Eagles winning this game.
We talk about quarterbacks being the keys to a lot of teams. I honestly think for the Niners offense, Deebo Samuel is the key. When he's there, they win. When he's not, they struggle a whole lot more. And Brock Purdy struggles a whole lot more. Just having Deebo Samuel be able to just line up anywhere and give you, just by himself, a number of different options, because he could be a receiver on any play. He could be a running back on any play. He could line up in the tight end slot on any play, because Shanahan's done that too. He can do so many different things that he makes life easier for guys like Brandon Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey.
Fish Tank says, do we not have any Eagles fans on the show? You know what? You're right. I don't know. I know Daniel Kirsch used to work for us. He was a big Eagles fan. Outside of that, I am not aware of any Eagles fans. That's a good point, Fish Tank. He says, I feel like we'd have heard them chirping by now, considering they're the most annoying fan base in football. That is not our experience, but I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Any Eagles fans out there? Would love to hear from you. 888-368-1580. Average Joe says, hey, Keon, what was worse? Which loss was worse? The Giants or the Cowboys? Let me guess. Cowboys.
No,
wait, because the Giants suck.
Yeah, the Giants are good. Yeah. And it happened twice.
They both hurt. That one hurts worse.
Yeah.
Twice.
I mean, it's just, and I don't know what it is. They face the Wink Martindale defense, and all of a sudden the offense can't move. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I have no answers for it. But that's the worst one. That's the worst one.
Lost Toby says, thinking the Eagles are more elite is wild. Niners are better all around. Whoever wins this game, the quarterback will be the MVP. I'm calling it right now. Let me just say, the Eagles, that's an elite team. They know how to get the win. The Niners have shown themselves beatable. The Chiefs have shown themselves beatable. If you look at anybody who looks more bulletproof, it does seem to be the Eagles. But now this, I'm not 100% confident in this with the Niners, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's the reason why I'm leaning Niners personally, is the Niners have shown themselves to be beatable when they're injured. When they don't have Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel, they're not better than Philly. But when they do have those guys, I can't say, honestly, with adding Deebo back to Ayuk, McCaffrey, Kittle, that team is not the better football team.
Will they have these guys?
Yeah.
They will have these guys.
They've been back for the last couple of weeks, and that's why San Francisco returned right back to winning. They got Williams and Deebo back, and it was like they never left.
Who is the Eagles' only loss this season? Who beat them? I don't know that off the top of my head.
Eagles.
Yeah, who's the one in their 10-1?
This thing jumped around on me. The Eagles have lost to come on, schedule thing. Let's go. The Jets.
What? Oh, it had to been Aaron Rodgers. No, he only had 3 seconds on the field.
Aaron Rodgers died in game one.
Jets, Eagles.
They lost the Jets. Put up 14 points against that Jets defense. That's why I say there's no elite team this year. I don't care what your record is. There aren't elite teams in the National Football League this season. They're great, and in the NFC, you could make the argument they're the best team in the NFC. But I'm not going to go based just purely on record. I'm going to say what I have seen your team do when healthy, and are you healthy? Well, the Niners, when healthy, they're the team that looks like you can't stop them.
I'm not going just by record. I mean, 10-1, that's enough. But I'm not going just by. I've watched quite a few games with them, and they find ways to get things done. It's a clever team right there. Lost Toby says, this show is too complex for the Eagles fans, them bird brains.
Sesame Street is too complex for Eagles fans.
Oh, wow. I had no experience with Eagles fans, but I guess if that's what you say, Keon.
Hey, man, I got plenty of friends from Philly. If they heard me say that, my phone would be blowing up right now, but I don't care. They're Philly fans. They know what's going on.
NFL Blitzer says, I'm an Eagles fan only this week. Middle finger 49ers. I bet there's going to be a lot of that, actually. Rico Suave and the Berg knew the answer. They both said it was the Jets. So did Niner Napoles. And he says, by the way, the Eagles loss to the Jets should count as 5 losses.
And the Eagles,
I'm inclined to agree.
The Eagles have had some tests in there, but it's like, depending on how you see Dallas, their big test was Miami and Kansas City. And I don't know that we've seen the best of Kansas City. And Miami hasn't beaten anybody that's actually like in that championship contender spot. So I don't know. It's not that I don't like the Eagles. It's that I like the completeness of the Niners more. The Eagles defense just leaves so much to be desired to me.
Here's their test.
Yeah.
This is their test. This is it. This is the big test going into the playoffs. Donnie says Eagle fans don't leave their mom's basements in Philly. No, that checks out.
Yeah.
Navy Brad says the best game for week 13 is the Vikings versus the bye week. Who wins? Who knows? Pickle D says, I'm a Dogs fan, so I kind of pulled for the Eagles, a.k.a. Georgia North. Fly, Dogs, fly.
Yeah, the Eagles drafted so many players from Georgia. That defense is basically, 1/4 Georgia defense. And that's why it's so good. At least up front, the defensive line, that group of guys. What is that?
Lost Toby says something that really does resonate. Eagles lost to Zach Wilson. When you put it that way.
Yeah, okay, to be fair. It's the Jets defense. Like they hang around in games.
That's who the Eagles lost.
And the Eagles, this is why I refuse to call them elite personally, is that they play down to the level of their competition so often that it's like, no, like what the Dolphins did when they played the Broncos earlier this year, where if you allow us to put 70 on you, we're going to put 70 on you. I'd like to see the Eagles do that to people. They just don't. So they never really impress anybody, even when they have really good wins. It's just make it hard on everybody to evaluate them.
We shall see. We shall see.
I think that they're really good, though. I mean, like it's either them or San Fran as top team in the NFC.
They find a way to win. That is what they do.
Yeah.
And if they find a way to beat the 49ers, you have to then give them that consideration.
Yeah.
By your own statement.
Because of who I think the Niners are.
Right.
If you beat them, yeah, I will.
Niner Napolis says, based on social media videos, they're quite popular. I don't think any Eagles fans are on here because they're too busy eating poop off the ground. I've seen that. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's so wrong.
That's so gross.
Mr. Pringle says, what's the difference between a great team and an elite team? Just word salad.
I don't think so. I think an elite team is a team that has almost no flaws. If you're a great team, it means you beat most of the people you play. The Eagles do that. But
So,
I don't think this is
to everybody else this year.
The Niners are in that same conversation. You would have to say the Niners are also elite if you say the Eagles are. They're not the only elite team if we're talking about that.
In
my opinion,
8-3.
Yeah, but when did the 3 losses happen? This is why I'm not talking about your record. I'm talking about your roster. How complete is your roster? And when the Niners have had a complete roster,
the Eagles have had injuries too, but still found a way to win.
Have they lost the same caliber of player? Like everybody has injuries, but Debo is the straw that stirs the drink for the Niners. The Eagles didn't lose AJ Brown.
They've won without Debo, haven't they? I feel like they have.
They have won without Debo, but this team, where you put the game on the shoulders of Brock Purdy, I think they need to have Debo. That's their guy. And they also, the left tackle, Trent Williams, he's the best left tackle in football when he's healthy. Got to have him out there too. The Eagles have not lost Jason Kelce. They haven't lost AJ Brown. They didn't lose Jalen Hurts. They didn't lose the biggest parts of their offense. So it makes sense that they don't have those same losses.
Man, they lose Jason Kelce at the end of the season. Like he decides to retire. That is the absolute soul of the Eagles. I hope he hangs around just a little bit longer. I mean, he's had a long career, and
they had to talk him back into it this season. So I hope he stays, but because it wouldn't be right to see the Eagles without him out there. But
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's the soul of the team for sure. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we got to talk about some other divisive things. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
So what did the doctor say?
He said I might need surgery.
Wow, it's that serious.
Well, we won't know for sure until I talk with a surgeon, but I'm lost. This is all new to me.
The decision to have surgery isn't easy, but neither is living with pain.
There is an alternative to surgery. At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach and can restore pain-free joint function so you can avoid surgery. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. We also help restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves both immediate physical symptoms and also improves cognition and emotional stability. So when traditional medicine suggests you need surgery, how about taking another approach? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
Greg Clark Automotive Specialist, located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley automobiles for 44 years. And we're offering our fall inspection on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Also, our brake service inspection, recommended every year to prevent repairs and ensure top performance. For guaranteed family touch service, contact us at 602-246-2881. Highly rated by Google. Online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention the Fanatic to get 10% off.
With all the school supplies your child will need over the years, it can be easy to overlook the most important one of all, money, which is a good reason to open an AZ529 education savings plan. Whether you invest $15 or $150 a month, your money grows tax-free. By the time your little one is ready for college, vocational school, or workforce training, they'll have all the savings they need to get the job of their dreams. Visit az529.gov to get started.
This message is sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
Grand Canyon University basketball is back for another exciting season. After advancing to March Madness in 2 of his 3 seasons as the head coach, Bryce Drew brings a team to the court this season, picked to win the conference once again, and led by first-team All-WAC selection Gabe McLaughlin and WAC preseason Player of the Year Ray Harrison. Check out the schedule at gculopes.com to find matchups with San Francisco, DePaul, Liberty, and last year's national championship runner-up, the San Diego State Aztecs. Join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes Insider Paul Coro all season long right here on The Fanatic, the home of Lopes basketball.
Hey, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic, and I just saw a news report I am not thrilled about. Jonathan Taylor going to have thumb surgery, so he'll be gone for a few weeks. Just when the things seem to be going in a positive direction for my Colts. Now they're 6-5. Everybody's like, "Hey, there's a wild card." And then Jonathan Taylor. So sure, Zach Moss will come on in there, and he'll do pretty good. He'll save my fantasy football team, but listen, he's very good. Jonathan Taylor is very much better. So that kind of hurts. So when all is said and done, if he has only gone 3 weeks, he'll have missed 7 weeks out of this season. And I'm so glad he got paid. That'll teach him. Teach him for making him wait for his money.
It's one of those things where I think running backs are valuable. Actually, if you don't have a great quarterback, how else are you going to get into the playoffs? Except you have a running game to really anchor things on. I've seen a number of teams that have no business making it to the playoffs, make it to the playoffs like, last year's Giants team, because they had Saquon. It's not just that Daniel Jones was playing a little better. It was Saquon was the entire offense. That can make you a playoff team if you have no business being one. So it does hurt to lose Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. And I'm very glad that I've handcuffed Zach Moss to him this entire season. It will save me. Not like I'm going to win anything. I'm still in 4th place, and I have no business being there. If it weren't for 130 points, I'd probably dropped. Whatever. 888-368-1580. So I want to just talk about a couple other things real quick, and then we'll move on. But LeBron James, I thought it was amazing. It was perfect timing, if you ask me. But he broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record for all-time minutes played during a 44-point loss. Go Lakers.
It was
so bad. The 76ers beat the Lakers 138-94.
I don't think I've seen them look this bad in a long time. They looked awful. I mean, lost. Darvin Ham looked like a premier coach a year ago, that they got a young guy that's going to be their head coach for a while. Now I'm like, I don't know what to think about Darvin Ham, but some of these rotations don't make any sense. I am just deeply confused by what the Lakers are right now. But what they are isn't good, and they're not going to go back to the Western Conference Finals if they look like this.
Can I just point out something? The jinxing. The jinxing is extensive. Ralph comes in and he talks about his Lakers. He talks about USC. He talks crap about our teams. He talks about this and that. And what happens? His teams lose. The Seahawks lose. The USC, horrible season. Lakers, horrible season. Going to be a horrible season. Donnie comes in, talks a lot of crap. He talks a lot of crap about all our teams, except for the Diamondbacks, which inexplicably he likes. Then what happens? Look at his teams. Look at the Vikings and what's going on with them. I'm telling you, the louder you talk crap, it seems the worse your fortunes end up being. Now look at us. Diamondbacks, we're hopeful. We're we're there. We're fans. We're realistic. We're not looking for a winning season. We're looking just for some good games. The end of it, we're in the damn World Series. That's what humble gets you, people. That's what humble gets you.
I don't disagree. Even if for no other reason than maybe the humility didn't cause the Diamondbacks to get where they got, but now you're pleasantly surprised as opposed to,
and we have lower blood pressure.
Yeah, you're talking up the Lakers, and then next thing you know, you're 19th in scoring in the league. That's not acceptable, and you can't in the Western Conference compete if that's how you're going to score the basketball. Just can't do it.
It's not a perfect science, but I'm throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. Nobody has had it served right back to them by life than Ralph. Ralph and his Lakers, his USC, even his Seahawks. The louder he talks crap, the worse those teams seem to do. Just something to think about. About. So I saw this thing on BuzzFeed. There's they're like, what are the most divisive conversations? Okay, I'm going to say fun conversations. So we'll leave abortion, gun control, religion, politics out of the question. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. But I looked at this list and I'm like, I can just solve all of these. The top 10 most divisive questions I can answer for you because it's mostly common sense. Okay. Number 10 was, is it okay to wear socks with sandals? Who gives a damn? 57% say it's not a good look. Okay, they're probably right. But if you want to wear socks with your sandals, wear socks with your sandals. Who cares what it looks like? If you care what it looks like, it looks dumb. If you don't care what it looks like, go on with your life. Number 9 is cereal soup. Don't be a dumbass. It's not soup, it's cereal. Why do we need it? It's not soup. Yeah. Just shut up. It's not soup and you know it. It's cereal. PlayStation or Xbox. You know what? Go get a date. Who gives a damn? Whichever one you like best is the right one.
The one with the games you like? What?
How's that divisive? This one's good. Could Jack have fit on that door at the end of Titanic? You're damn right.
Yes, there was more than enough room. There was more than enough room. Science
supports it. Science says, yes, they both could have fit, especially if they'd MacGyvered her life jacket a little bit. It could have worked if they had really tried. But you have to remember, they both went bloosh into the water. They were both freezing cold. They probably weren't thinking straight. So whatever. But yeah, hey, Rose, maybe, make an effort. That's all I'm saying.
It's just that the door was the size of a bed.
Although I was annoyed with Leonardo DiCaprio's character. So I was like the person in the theater that when he went blub, 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 I was like, yes. All right, here's the next one. 6. Which brownie is better, the edge piece or the middle piece?
It's made out of chocolate.
This doesn't even need to be a question. Any brownie you get is a good brownie. Yeah, I like the edge piece. It's a little crunchy. Some people don't like it. I'll eat the middle piece. I don't care. Give me a brownie. That's all I care about. Who gives a damn? That shouldn't be divisive. Does pineapple belong on a pizza? If you want it, it does. If you don't, it doesn't. How's that divisive? What do you care about what somebody puts in their own mouth? What's the best day of the week? Are you kidding me with this? Seriously, we're going to fight about the best day of the week. It's a day you don't have to work.
It's one of the weekend days.
Period. Oh, they'll fight about that.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Saturday or Sunday? Because Sunday you've got the dread of knowing you got to go back to work. But Saturday, you're just getting started. I don't know. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm drunk both days, so
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You run a good, safe, blood alcohol content. You're fine.
Yeah.
Monday was voted the worst day of the week. Okay. All right. Garfield. Whatever. Is a hot dog a sandwich was the number 3 most divisive thing. A hot dog is a hot dog. Okay.
Mhm.
Stop it.
It's just a hot dog. Yeah.
There's special bread made for the hot dog. So that doesn't make it a sandwich, meat between bread. It's a special piece of bread. And it's a thing that doesn't look like something you'd put in a sandwich. I dare you to call it a sandwich. If you're going to call it a sandwich, then I need you to see with some flat bread with some big round hot dogs in the middle. And that's your sandwich. Stupid. So no, a hot dog is not a sandwich. A hot dog is a hot dog. Stop it. Stop. Don't even come at me with a taco asking the same stupid question. Taco's taco. Hot dog's a hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
Sandwich is a sandwich.
Taco's not even bread. Makes even less sense.
Now I want a meatball sub. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes, it's a Christmas movie.
Takes place during Christmas.
Yes.
Christmas is kind of one of the big themes in the movie. There are several jokes about the fact that this movie is happening during Christmas. It's a Christmas movie.
And I don't care what Bruce Willis says. He ain't saying it anymore. So, yeah, I'm going to say yes. Die Hard's a Christmas movie. But if you don't want it to be a Christmas movie, don't watch it around Christmas. You're welcome. And this is the big one. This is the most divisive question that they know of. Does a straw have 1 or 2 holes?
It's just 1.
Science says 1. And they are correct. But who cares? Who's fighting about a straw if it has 1 or 2 holes? That's how you get some, well, I'll tell you what, you drink a beer through a straw. Who cares how many holes it has? It gets you drunker quicker. I'm not going to do that because it looks weird. But yeah, I don't care. This is so dumb.
I mean,
how are these divisive?
You could drink it through a straw, or, and I'm just putting ideas out there, you could just drink the beer faster.
Yeah.
You drink it
more
faster,
beer.
yeah,
Sure.
you get more drunk. There you go.
So divisive. If these questions are, they're just people who just feel like screwing around.
Yeah.
And
there are people that just like to find stupid things and argue about it. Like that is something they genuinely enjoy.
None of these should be divisive. If somebody is making a strong argument about any of those 10 things I just said, you should walk away. Just walk away mid-conversation, mid-sentence, mid-breath. Just walk away. If somebody, wow, pineapple, where are you going? Where are you going?
The only time we have this conversation is if we are ordering a pizza for us to eat. Then it's like, what do you like on pizza? Would pineapple on pizza bother you?
No, I like it. I like a Hawaiian. I'm good with it.
I don't like it, but that's the thing is only in the context of me telling you what I would like to eat is where that would come up. I don't.
Yeah, the only time it comes up is if Keon and I are ordering a pizza and I want half ham and pineapple and he wants half pepperoni. And he's like, yeah, do you have to get that, Jeffrey? Why? It doesn't bother you. I'm eating it. Yeah, but the pineapple juice might come over to my side of the pizza. Oh, that's reasonable. And then I would try to figure out a way to make sure that didn't happen. Because if he doesn't like it, he shouldn't have to eat it. See how even where it could be divisive, it doesn't have to be divisive.
It just doesn't.
If I am paying for it, well, you're just got the risk.
Yeah, that just is what it is.
You'll have to
It
risk
depends on who's buying the pizza too. Yeah, that's true.
But it's nothing you can't sort out. Oh, these people get online and just go crazy. Donnie says divisive, more like all the stuff that Berg brings up on Twitter every day. That's actually true. And Berg brings it up just because he likes to watch. He just grabs the popcorn, throws the question out just to see the fun. That's all that is.
Yeah, and
Berg
then
doesn't
the
actually
people
care
the
either.
people gather and argue. And
Here's
he gets
King
an
of
entertaining
Kittens.
day.
Pineapple pizza for the win. We're not declaring anything. This is not the place for that, King of Kittens.
Just eat it if you like it. Don't eat it if you don't. That's the point.
Kiss the Cook says nachos is a taco that doesn't have its crap together. I'll allow it. That's fair. Farting on the plane. Are you saying that's a divisive thing? That's something that should get you punched in the mouth.
Yeah, that's it's divisive in that if you do it on a plane, everyone on the plane will hate you.
So
But
if you can do a silent but deadly as you walk back through the plane towards the bathroom, you have won at life. But you risk a lot doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Moist One says, is a hamburger a sandwich? No, it's a hamburger. Shut up. Pickle D says, I laughed out loud when the guy jumped off the Titanic and hit the propeller on the way down. Me too. Me too. Oh, I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, that was great. Chief Skull says, if a hot dog is a sandwich, then is a hamburger a sandwich? Nobody said a hot dog is a sandwich. A hot dog is a hot dog. A hamburger is a hamburger. A sandwich is a sandwich. And everybody needs to shut the hell up. Blissful Hayes says, I like eating a hot dog sandwich and drinking a beer with 2-holed straw while playing the sport of pickleball. It's not a sport. It's not a sport. Moist One says, pineapple adds flavor to all the best foods. Yeah, we know what you're talking about. We get it. Pickle D says, a hot dog is a thickly breaded taco. I'd allow that before I'd allow it being a sandwich, but I still don't allow it. Against the Spread says the reason Rose from the Titanic didn't share the door with Leo is because she was high class, a high class hoe. They used Leo up and let him die. She didn't want people to know that she was slumming with the low class meat, so she let him go blub blub. That tracks. Actually, I saw the movie. That's true.
It. I mean,
yeah.
Then he's a better person than me because I'm getting on that door. I am not about to freeze.
She may or may not stay on the door, but I'm getting on the door.
Yeah, look, we are either both on the door or neither of us are on the door.
Can I tell you why? There was a bit of a physics problem, but they could have overcome it. She was a bit bigger than him, and you know what I'm saying? She might have, bloop, just it may not have stayed level, so she would have to spread out. And then he would have to be on top of her, and then it wouldn't go under. Because I don't mean that I wasn't trying to like fat shame her or nothing. I'm just saying she was bigger than him physically, actually bigger than Leonardo DiCaprio at the time. So, but if he crawled up on top of her, for one thing, that has shared some heat, maybe something else, and they could have balanced. Just spread out, and I'll spread out on top of you. I'm sure somebody else in the water freezing to death be like, what's improper? Oh, lady, it's only improper if I go, that's when it's oh my God. The guy, they probably would have found you faster had you done that. Kiss the Cook says she let him drown because he had cold water shrinkage. Yeah, that was something she knew. The ultimate shrinkage was happening right there. Waldo says, is a calzone a pizza or a sandwich? It's a calzone. They gave it a name. Chief Skull says, pineapple and pepperoni pizza. Yeah, all right. That's cool. Lost Toby says, you shouldn't poop on the team bus. Sorry, what? Did that come up as a thing?
I don't think so.
You absolutely should poop in the team bus. Why wouldn't you poop on the team bus? If they got a toilet, poop on the team bus. Is that in reference to something I should know?
I don't know.
I feel like
I'm
it is.
Thinking, but I don't know. I have no idea.
If you got to poop and you're on the team bus, who's on the team bus other than your fellow players?
Yeah. Where else are you going to go?
I absolutely going to poop in the team bus. Twice. Against the Spread says Titanic is the worst movie of all time, right after Waterworld and The Postman. Spoiler alert, people. The boat sinks. Everybody dies. Yeah, I say that about every movie. Boat sinks, everyone dies. Good movie. Slim Pickens Hat says, why didn't Jack just get in the boat with the cameraman? Wow. You're playing chess when the rest of us are playing checkers, Slim Pickens Hat. That will haunt me now for the rest of my life. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
For nearly 100 years, folks have trusted Blue Star medicated ointment to relieve the pain and itching of almost any skin irritation.
It works on my son's dry, itching feet and their jock itch.
I had this rash on my neck. Nothing worked until Blue Star.
Blue Star worked great on my ringworm without steroids.
My wife and I have been using Blue Star for years. It's never let us down.
Look for the white box with the blue star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast or your money back.
Can I open it now?
I think you've waited long enough.
Yeah, go for it, kiddo.
I already have this baseball cap.
Not this one.
Look a little closer, sweetheart.
It's signed?
Yeah, buddy.
I can't believe it.
Do you still have that card all these years later? Do you have trading cards that's been sitting in a box for decades? Scottsdale Cards is who you want to call first. The Valley's card, comic book, and collectibles expert since 1989. Scottsdale Cards is your source to sell your trading cards and other collectibles, including those comic books you've been doing nothing with. We are always interested in buying your vintage sports cards and comic books, certified autographs, memorabilia, and collectibles. So what collectibles do you have stored away? They could be worth thousands. Call or text 480-419-2990. That's 480-419-2990. Or go to scottsdalecards.com. That's scottsdalecards.com. Or search Scottsdale Cards on your mobile phone today.
Greg Clark Automotive Specialist, located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley automobiles for 44 years. And we're offering our fall inspection on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Also, our brake service inspection, recommended every year to prevent repairs and ensure top performance. For guaranteed family touch service, contact us at 602-246-2881. Highly rated by Google. Online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention the Fanatic to get 10% off.
I'm Matt Damon. I'm Zachary Levi.
I'm Uzo Aduba.
Join Major League Baseball and Stand Up to Cancer as we stand in honor of all loved ones affected by this disease.
Visit standuptocancer.org/MLB.
Stand up with us.
This is Brad Musburger. Don't miss Betting Across America, Saturdays at 11 a.m. right here on Arizona Sports Betting Station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
When I had ringworm, I took it.
Nobody admits they have ringworm.
Not if they've got any sense, anyway.
You ever have ringworm?
No.
I can tell you I've never had ringworm, but if I didn't ever have ringworm, I did nothing to worry about. But if I did have ringworm, guess what? I'd never had ringworm.
You still wouldn't know.
Same answer on that question is what it should be. Against the Spread says, what happened to the commercials for the dude running for president refers to himself in the third person?
Bobby Quiggs.
Yeah.
Our boy Bobby Quiggs.
I can't talk about that. Moist One says, it's signed. I can't believe it. Dad, who's Josh Jackson? Kiss the Cook says, Keon, give Blue Star a try. If your itch isn't gone after several applications, hey, at least you get your money back. Yeah, during the break, off air, that's what I yelled at him. I said, that would probably work on your itchy butthole.
And now should I be cursed with an itchy butthole, which I'm still not convinced is going to happen to me.
Yeah, by the way, for everybody listening, he does not currently have it, or do you have?
I don't.
No, he does not currently have an itchy butthole. Somebody said they wished it on him earlier in the show. I don't remember who, but they wished it on him. So how about now?
Still no.
Okay.
Still no.
Is that anything like stinkworm? I don't know what that is, Moist One.
And I'm already
sad. I
sad.
probably shouldn't have said that out loud.
I don't know what it is, and I'm already sad.
Mm-hmm. Here I am standing here. I don't have anything in my hand. There we go. Let's talk about the Pro Football Hall of Fame semifinalists. They have been announced. You got the list of the Pro Football Hall of Fame semifinalists, Keon, because I'm looking at it and I see some pretty obvious names. Now, here's the thing I hate. They always say, all right, there's going to be 15 semifinalists. Okay, how many are going to win? We don't know.
Because they have to get it past a certain threshold, each individual person. So when they get past that, then they're in. And it doesn't matter
what threshold.
I forget what the
you're in or you're out.
I mean, correct, but it's they have a line of the number of votes you have to get to be considered in. So it's not like
they're semifinalists. They're all eligible. Some of these guys have been in semifinalists 8 times.
Yeah. And this is one of the toughest parts of the process to get past.
Why? When they could just, if somebody deserves to be in, you put them in. If
That's what I
don't,
think.
You go home. Don't be on the list again. We don't need you on the list 8 times.
But
if you weren't there 7, you're not going to be there 8. And you're not going to be there number 9.
Maybe, but there are definitely some people that they get passed over. I've definitely seen guys that have deserved to be there that get to be semifinalists, and they just don't get past that part. And that doesn't mean that they weren't a Hall of Famer, but just for whatever reason, the voters, because you don't get to vote for everybody, so you have a finite amount of votes you can give. So if you go up against some tough classes, some Hall of Fame classes where it's like, wow, okay, Brady's in this class and a bunch of other guys of that caliber, guess what? I might have been great enough in whatever year I played, but I'm not better than these guys, so I'm not getting in this year.
Okay, so each class is going to have between 4 and 9 new members. That is one of the bylaws of the selection committee. And you have to have an 80% approval to get in. So Darren Woodson has been sitting there for 8 different times, and he couldn't get in. When do they call it a day on some of these guys? When do they just say, if you haven't gotten in by now, you're just not getting in?
I don't know. I'm also concerned that Darren Woodson's not in the Hall of Fame. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, how could he not be in already? But
well,
hold on, let me see.
Let's say if I had to choose my names, and now I know there's 9. Here's my names. Let me see here: 2, 4, 6, 8. 9. Oh, it's funny. What a weird coincidence, because I went through and I highlighted 9 guys that I think should automatically be in there, and I could be wrong. And maybe some of these other guys that are better suited to be in. But here are the 9 guys I picked. And maybe it's a little bit of Colts love on some of my picks. Dwight Freeney, he should be in there. Defensive end for the Colts and the Chargers and the Cardinals and the Falcons and the Seahawks and the Lions and everybody else. But he was an epic defensive end, and I feel like he should be in there. Antonio Gates, tight end for the Chargers. Eddie George, the running back. Torrey Holt, wide receiver for the Super Bowl winning St. Louis Rams during the heyday. Julius Peppers, defensive end for the Panthers and the Bears. Fred Taylor, running back. I'm surprised he's only been on the list 5 times and he hasn't won. He was an epic running back. Hines Ward, the most smiliest wide receiver you ever saw play in your life. He's been a semifinalist 8 times. Reggie Wayne, wide receiver for the Colts. Obvious, he should be in there. Vince Wilfork, he should be in there. Tackle for the Patriots, and a minute with the Houston Texans, whatever. Those are my 9. Who do you think I got wrong and missed? Because I know that the Bears fans are going to say Devin Hester. Devin Hester should be in there. I mean, what about Robert Mathis for the Colts?
Yeah, Robert Mathis. Yeah, I mean, look, the Colts have like a bunch of guys right now from that play together. So from one era, that all have a really strong case to get in. It would be tough. I'm surprised again, like a guy like Willie Anderson, the tackle isn't in there. And it's tougher with linemen because you just don't have the numbers to show what they're doing. So you either know what a great offensive tackle looks like or you don't.
Yeah.
But he was great. Why is he not in the Hall of Fame? And no answers.
Let me roll down some of the list, and you just say yay or nay, and then we can get deeper in the conversation. Okay. Eric Allen, cornerback for the Eagles.
Yay.
Jared Allen, defensive end for the Chiefs, the Vikings.
Ooh, really good, but I'm going to say nay.
Willie Anderson, I think you said yay already. Tiki Barber, running back.
But Bubble,
is it your Giants hate maybe there?
But no, I'm gonna say yay. No, not really. I like when it comes to, because all of these guys that beat my team's ass, I respected them. They're great players.
Anquan Bolden. He was with the Cardinals and the Ravens and the 49ers and the Lions.
See, I'm gonna be accused of just saying yay to everybody, but like how Anquan Bolden statistically, how do you keep him out?
Yeah,
that's the tough part there, and that's why if I'm choosing a limited amount of people, like I only have the ability to choose some of these guys. But if you
nine is between 4 and 9 are getting in.
But like everybody here is, I think, worthy of the conversation.
Well, then you got to say,
I just
definitively, yay or nay. I mean, I just wrote off
I'm
my list.
I'm going to say yay for
some of these guys are not better than what's on my list. Jari Evans, guard for the Saints. He was damn good. He was damn good.
Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, that's the thing. Is like I feel like I.
But you know the list, so you can be like,
I do
I'll
know
look
the
at Jari
list.
Evans. I'll tell you right now, he ain't getting in this year, or it maybe even ever compared to some of these other names.
And that's the thing. Is like being a guard and a tackle. Most people don't know how good you were over the course of your career. You'll probably lose out against most skill position guys.
London Fletcher, linebacker for the Rams in their Super Bowl heyday,
and also Washington. He was there in Washington for a long time, and London Fletcher has, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, someone could correct me on this, more tackles than Ray Lewis over the course of his career. How he's not in is alarming to me, but yeah, London Fletcher deserves to be a Hall of Famer.
Well, Dwight Freeney, you agree on that one,
I
right?
do agree with Dwight Freeney. Yeah.
Antonio Gates, you agree on that one?
Yes.
Eddie George.
Can't say no to Eddie George. See, what am I supposed to? What am I? I'm not going to say no to just about most of the people.
James Harrison, linebacker for the Steelers.
James Harrison was awesome.
Little Rodney Harrison for the Chargers and the Patriots. I met him. I'm taller than him. I can call him Little.
You can call him Little. He's not going to appreciate that, but it's okay. He's not here.
I stood outside. I'm looking at him like, he's a very slight person right here. I'm surprised. Devin Hester. Is that a guy who should be in or not? I mean, was he a one-trick pony, or does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame there? As a punt return, kick return, wide receiver.
He might have been the one-trick pony, but it was the best one trick.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why the Bears were able to go to a Super Bowl with Rex Grossman is because of what Devin Hester did as a special teams player.
Torrey Holt?
Yes.
Andre Johnson?
Andre's a guy I thinks probably a little bit closer.
Robert Mathis.
Yeah.
Julius Peppers.
Julius Peppers is the single freakiest defensive end I've ever seen in my life.
Steve Smith Sr., I love the guy, but I think they should make him wait like 5 more years just to be, because he's kind of a jackass.
Just to be petty about it.
Yeah, jackass him right back. Fred Taylor, Hines Ward. I think you agreed on those two.
Yeah.
Ricky Waters, running back for the Niners and the Eagles.
This is another one of those. How did this guy not get in already?
Reggie Wayne for the Colts.
It's automatic.
Vince Wilfork. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Patrick Willis, linebacker for the Niners.
The argument with Patrick Willis, because when he was playing was great, but he played 7 years, right? Like that's
they were saying the same thing.
Amount of time with Patrick Willis that makes it hard for me to just say that's an automatic Hall of Fame.
Moisen says Tiki didn't play long enough, but Tiki Barber played 9 years. How long is long enough for running back? I think 9 years.
If you play 9-10 years as a running back, like that basically is your career.
Navy Brad says Jim Marshall for the Vikings needs to be in. What is the Hall of Fame issue? Why is he not on there?
I don't know. Like the Hall of Fame, it's not a perfect process because you'll see guys, like I'm actually surprised right now to hear that Jim Marshall isn't a Hall of Famer already.
Jim Plunkett says kiss the cook.
There's another. I don't know. Like there are just some guys that are so iconic and such a huge part of the game, and put up the numbers to be in the conversation. It's just like, how is that possible that they're not in?
Chief Scholes says, Keon, don't you dare say nay to Jared Allen. Jared Allen played 12 seasons for 4 teams, including the Vikings and the Chiefs. He had 503 solo tackles, 145 assists, 136 sacks, 19 fumble recoveries, and 6 interceptions. He was selected to play in 5 Pro Bowls.
Jared Allen was one of my favorite players when he was playing. I had to try to say no to somebody, man. What do you want from me? I don't have like a if you give me a limited amount of votes and I sit down and choose some guys, okay, fine. But like if you say, does anybody on this list deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Damn near most of them do.
Listen, Keon, I did it. I had 9 names. Bam, bam.
All right.
You have the list.
When we come back, I will put together 9 names.
You can do it that quick? I was going to give you till tomorrow.
I will try.
You want to wait till tomorrow?
Let's do tomorrow. So
okay, because that gives you a chance to actually think about
it. not throw some crap together.
Yeah. Against the Spread says Devin Hester and Steve McMichael should be in the Hall of Fame. So should the local hero, Pride of Maryvale, Daryl Woodson. Pringle says, put them all in. Hefty Lefty says, running back is already tough to break in, because of the guys that are already in there. In about 15 years, you're going to get to a point where you might not see any of today's running backs get in because of game changes. Rico Suave says London Fletcher plated for the Washington Commandos. Demons played.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Dropping the Soap says, when's Taylor Swift going to be eligible for the Football Hall of Fame? The way things are going, soon. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
For nearly 100 years, folks have trusted Blue Star medicated ointment to relieve the pain and itching of almost any skin irritation.
It works on my son's dry itching feet and their jock itch.
I had this rash on my neck. Nothing worked until Blue Star.
Blue Star worked great on my ringworm without steroids.
My wife and I have been using Blue Star for years. It's never let us down.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast or your money back.
If you are an IT professional looking for an opportunity with great benefits, the freedom to creatively solve problems in a career with great growth potential and a team environment, look no further than Affinity Technology. Serving the Valley since 1992, Affinity Technology is looking for a level 1 tech to develop and deliver excellent solutions and outstanding customer service. Visit atechaz.com/jobs and get started with your future today. That's atechaz.com/jobs.
The Sun Devil men's basketball season is fast approaching. Frankie Collins, who drives to the goal, dunks it in. Join the action this year and catch USC, UCLA, Washington, and Arizona when all come to Desert Financial Arena in the final year of the Pac-12 Conference. Collins, great spin move, drive to the basket and lays it in. Get your tickets today by calling 480-965-5812 or go online to sundeviltickets.com. Sun Devil men's basketball, onward to victory.
Greg Clark Automotive Specialist, located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley automobiles for 44 years. And we're offering our fall inspection on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Also, our brake service inspection, recommended every year to prevent repairs and ensure top performance. For guaranteed family touch service, contact us at 602-246-2881. Highly rated by Google. Online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention the Fanatic to get 10% off.
When life gets overwhelming, but you just don't feel like talking, help is only a text away. Trained and caring crisis specialists are available by text 24/7 to assist with suicidal thoughts, substance use issues, depression, anxiety, and more. You are never alone. When you need help, please text HOPE to 4HOPE. From anywhere in Arizona, text the word HOPE to 44673. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2,
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside not Randy White. She'll be back tomorrow. Got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. King Kitten says, once again, Gold Bond Lotion will cure your worries. Thank you, King Kittens. Appreciate that. We were talking about Hall of Fame semifinalists, and so there might be a few stray comments about all that, but Keon is going to list his choices tomorrow if he were a voter, and I'm going to take a second look at my list. I had highlighted some guys, but I'll go back through and kind of make sure I'm making my right choices. We'll pretend to be voters and select 9 out of that list. And I'll tell you what, from all the conversation we had about it in the last hour, that is not easy. That is just not easy. But I think that Deion Sanders might be right. It was him that was talking about that, right? Where he was saying the Hall of Fame, there's a Hall of Fame, and then there's just a bunch of guys they throw in there. And of course, you know, some names sound more Hall of Fame-ish than others. But Deion Sanders is being ignorant, because the guys he was crapping on when he said that, if you go back and you look at those players and you look at their careers and what they contributed that allowed people like Deion Sanders to look Hall of Fame, be Hall of Fame, they also had a part. So I you know, it's tough. It's harder than you might think. It is a disappointment when sometimes you look at a list of Hall of Fame people and you don't know who they are, but that doesn't mean you're right, Deion.
Yeah, especially, and for me personally, I just feel bad for linemen, because there will be years where there's a lot more guards and tackles and, you know, interior defensive linemen that maybe aren't as well known because those positions don't put up crazy numbers. It's easy to look at that and go, okay, maybe that person doesn't belong to be in the Hall of Fame because we didn't notice what they were doing while they were playing. But the people who know football can tell you Jari Evans was damn good.
Well, listen, ladies, I might not read your texts for the rest of the show. He says, the great Jeff George deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Shut up.
Okay. All right.
Hefty Lefty says, I think there's a big comparison factor, you know, with positions that keep guys out. Like Tiki played 9 years, but was he ever the best back in the league during those 9 years? He's in that Terrell Davis category of longevity, you know, where you have the best in the league for a couple of years to offset the other years played. It's the toughest of the 4 major Hall of Fames to get in, I think. I hear you, Hefty Lefty. Yeah, and you make a very good point. And each player has got to be looked at the more than just the sum of their stats. Kind of like what you do for fantasy football. You could be looking at all the players available on the fantasy football waiver wire, right? And, you know, as you look through them, one of the things that you do is you look at their year-long stats, then you look at the last 4-week stats, then you look at the last 2-week stats, and then you see what they did last week. And you kind of get a feel for, okay, who's really good right now and who's not. Because you look at a guy, you grab open one of these players' stat sheets, and you're like, wow, these guys look like they've been doing really good. Then you look, I'll use Greg Dortch as an example. In the last couple of weeks, wow, he looks like he's putting a few points up here and there. So you might be tempted to go grab him. But then you look at it and you're like, oh, only in the last 2 weeks has he had anything going on. Why? Kyler Murray's back. That doesn't guarantee anything. And guess what else? In the last 2 weeks, numbers aren't astounding. You know, you got 13 points in week 11 and 11 points in week 12. Before that, not much. So you got to look at things and think, okay, will he continue to have success? Will it get better because Kyler's back? Maybe. You know, so when you look at a player this way, you could say, well, he sucks because he only has 27 points the entire year of fantasy football. No, there were extenuating circumstances. And so when you look at a player over the course of 10 years, he may have had a couple of giant years, and then he could have had a whole lot of bad years. Maybe that guy's not a Hall of Famer, but you remember him because of Oh, in those great years, they won a Super Bowl. In those other years, it was bad. Then you're going to think, ooh, do we blame him? Or, oh, wait, is he a victim of circumstance? There's a lot of story that goes on behind every NFL career.
I agree. And I also think, because it was a good question, was Tiki Barber ever the best running back in the league? Well, what if he was top 3 every year? Like maybe the best running back in the year.
That's like maybe the top 3 Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but if you're in the top 3 every year, your whole career, there are guys who could say, you can say 1 year, that was the best running back in football. But when you look at their whole career, that 1 year where they were the best might have been the only year they were in the top 3. So then what do you do? Like there's a consistency factor to the fact that the dude rushed for multiple seasons where he was 1,000-yard rusher, and he was up there as one of the best in the league. I think that you don't have to be the best 1 year because it's the NFL. There's a lot of talented guys in this league. I mean, there was a year where we were legitimately looking at what was the name of that one Browns running back? Peyton Hillis. Where he was just like, that guy was one of the best running backs in football for 1 season and never again and never before that. Like, I think being consistently near the top should be more important, but everyone's going to see it differently.
Yeah, but every career is a storyline, and you need to consider that. And you need to look at that and say, is this person really worthy of a Hall of Fame? Because he had a couple good years out of a full career. Or is somebody not eligible because they had a couple of bad years in a great career? So there's different ways of looking at it, and then position groups as well, where it's not as sexy a position. But there's 50 people in the selection committee, and you have to hope and you have to trust that the 50 people there are going to look at each one of these players and look at their story and look at the history and look what they meant to that team and look what they meant to the success of the NFL in that time period to decide if they do belong in a Hall of Fame. And it's not the Hall of Stats. It's not the Hall of Wins. It's the Hall of Fame. And so that's the other part. Fame. Do I know who the hell you are? I think that should actually have an impact on whether or not you're in the Hall of Fame.
It should to some degree, but what do you do with somebody who's an offensive lineman? A lot of people
know some offensive linemen.
We know some, but
those are the guys who should be in the Hall of Fame, not the other ones.
But not everybody. But what if they were great?
Like, what if the Hall of Stats? It's the Hall of Fame. Didn't say it was fair.
I don't know, because then at that point, if we're not putting the best players in, then I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. Best guys goes in.
If you're famous, you should be the best. You should be. And it's a shame.
Yeah, but
somebody's not.
It doesn't necessarily go the other way. Just because you're the best doesn't necessarily mean you're famous.
Well, that just means the 50 people figuring this out are stupid.
True, that's possible.
So we have to hope and we have to trust that the 50 people in this selection committee will actually look at it in a more thoughtful way, the way we're trying to do. We looked at Tiki Barber. I'll be honest, Hefty, when I saw Tiki's name, I'm like, no. Yeah, no.
Just 6 out of his last 7 seasons in his career, and we already acknowledged that it is a short career. 1,000-yard rusher, at least.
He was in 9 years. It wasn't 7. He was in 9 years.
No, I'm saying, but 6 out of his last 7, because the first 3 he wasn't close to being a 1,000-yard rusher.
Gotcha.
And then that 4th year, he was a 1,000-yard rusher, and he was basically that and more, because he was nearly, he had the 2005 season, he rushed for 1,800 yards. That was when he was 4th in MVP voting. That was his best season, but he had, the 1,500 season, the 1,300 season. He had seasons where he was incredibly productive, and those were running Giants football teams. So they relied on him a lot.
When I go back and I look at this list, so tomorrow we'll discuss this, who we really pick. Anybody who is a Colt is getting into mine. I'm going to be that way. And then I'm going to do my damnedest to support it and back it up.
That's typically not how that's supposed to go. You're supposed to.
But with 50 people on the selection committee, you don't think there's pettiness that can be involved? You don't think there's gumph that's involved?
That's exactly why you have 50 people, to try and average it out over a lot of people.
We have 2 people doing this. So tomorrow,
don't hate us.
If Randy's able to be back, I'm going to have him get in on this too. And we'll see if there's out of our 9, each one of us gets 9. If we have a unanimous decision on any of these players.
Good point.
I think that'll be fun. We'll do that tomorrow. I'll send a copy of this over to Randy. 888-368-1580. Moiswin says, Vince Wilfork's my favorite. I did highlight and pick him before. I agree. T-Licious says, Joe Namath isn't a Hall of Famer. He wore pantyhose and fur coats. Literally had one good season, but he got in because he was guaranteed a Super Bowl win, and that's what he didn't even score a touchdown in that, by the way. Yeah, T-Licious, I got you on that. I got you. But he Hall of Fame, and he was the epitome of that in the time.
Yeah, and also the game changes from era to era, and what you ask the quarterback to do in Joe Namath's era is not what you're asking quarterbacks to do now. And I think that for him, being the guy that guarantees the Super Bowl, you put that pressure on your team, you get that win, and it's in the early NFL, that's going to put you in the Hall of Fame. You don't get to do that once we've been impressed by that, though. You don't get to do that afterwards. It's going to be pretty much just Joe Namath with a career exactly like that.
So if I tell you tight end Steve Jordan, what team are you thinking of, Keon? Because Kiss the Cook says 10 plus years, one team, solid tight end, Steve Jordan. You might be a little young.
I'm not. I can't think of a specific team, actually.
Minnesota Vikings from 82 until 95.
Take your word for it.
That's what I'm talking about. Hall of Fame. Okay.
But that's the thing, is if you're saying he's solid is not Hall of Fame. I mean, he could have been very famous, but if he was solid, is that enough?
Roger Craig should be in, says Niner 1680.
He's not. This is, I don't know. Every now and then, Texters will throw in a guy that's not in the Hall of Fame that I'm genuinely stunned is not already there.
T-Licious says Hall of Fame should be in for career, not one interview. But it's really more about the legend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't print the legend. So that, I think, I get what you're saying about Joe Namath. I get it.
I do. And he had more than one good season, by the way. I mean, it wasn't a ton. It was like 3. But
Voice one, I know for a fact that there's nobody named Drew Peacock in the Hall of Fame. Stop it. What position did he play? Booger Wolf says, sorry for the rest of the league, especially the Dolphins. When the Niners take them out this year in the Super Bowl, that's my FanDuel bet. That's why I'm going after them. Dolphins and Niners in the Super Bowl. I don't see that. Hefty Lefty says, 2 examples I like to use for running backs at both ends of the spectrum are Frank Gore and Terrell Davis. Gore's numbers are huge because of his longevity. He should probably get in. Terrell Davis was incredible for 4 years, but only played 8, and he's in. I think he should be. Also, aware of my slight bias for Terrell Davis. Understood.
I mean, I get that, but for the 4 years that Terrell Davis was great, he was freaking great. Like you were Super Bowls. He was definitely near the top of the NFL every year of that. He deserves to be in because of the window that he had. He maximized it completely. Where a guy like Frank Gore, playing running back for damn near 20 years ought to mean something. And effectively too. He didn't just play. He was good basically till he wasn't.
And then
it was over.
I think we all are, Keon. Against the Spread says, if Andre Johnson makes the Hall of Fame, his statue should be him ripping off that corner's helmet from Tennessee and punching him in the face. Mm-hmm. There's a precedent for this. Nolan Ryan's statue is him holding Robin Ventura in a headlock and punching him.
It was Cortland Finnegan was the corner. I will never forget Cortland Finnegan because everybody at the time was calling him Cortland Innigan because Andre Johnson knocked the F out of him. It was it was an epic moment because here's this gentle giant, doesn't want to fight anybody, doesn't want to get caught up in any of that nonsense. And to this day, the secret that I want to know the most on the planet Earth is, what did Cortland Finnegan say to Andre Johnson to get him to snap?
I just put a check mark by Andre Johnson. I might vote for him just because of that story.
Just ripped his helmet off and punched him in his face. And it is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a football game.
Blissful Hayes thinks Philip Rivers should be in the Football Hall of Fame for the most semen demons. I don't think that's a stat.
That's not a stat.
Yeah.
And no.
Navy Brad says Jim Marshall. Hold on, here. My button. Lost Toby says put Tom Brady in the Hall so we can stop talking about him coming back. Nobody's talking about him coming back. He's not coming back. Moo-ah-ha-ha, says Rondé Barber is already in. Are there any other brother combos in the Hall of Fame? Well, that's a good question. Not a whole lot of freakish twins out there in the Hall of Fame. You know,
I mean, down the road, the Kelceys are going to get in.
They're not twins.
They're not twins.
Yeah,
but
brothers. Yeah, absolutely going to be the Kelce brothers. It's a good question. We should look that up. You don't have to worry about it right now. Sluzzman says Chicago Bears fans have been debating over their next Hall of Fame inductee. Will it be Devin Hester or Peanut Tillman?
Both guys worthy.
Well, he's not on the list.
He's not on the list though. Is he eligible yet?
I don't know. T-Licious says no, he didn't. Keon, Google it.
Google what?
I don't know. I think
are we talking about the Joe Namath?
I don't know. Burger Wolf says love this show and you guys do a good job. Just to let you know. Oh, and the Vikings suck. Okay, Burger Wolf, take it easy. Gamecock says Dixie wrecked. I started to read that. I was like, Dixie? There's nobody named Dixie. He says, yeah, 1940s Bears coach. Not it. Knock it off, Gamecock. Moist One says Peyton and Eli, Hall of Fame. There's two brothers right there.
That's true. So that's another two. How do we forget them? That seems like the obvious choice.
They're so different. You don't even think.
Yeah,
of
they
them
don't.
as
They don't.
brothers,
They feel. Yeah.
when you know they're brothers. I don't know. What is this? Pickle D just sent me something about Georgia and Michigan and Washington. Oh, you know what we need to do? Hey, let's do this. When we come back, let's shelve the Hall of Fame conversation until tomorrow. When we come back, we should have Keon Rose's college football recap. We usually do that in the 4:00 hour, but I forgot. Also, we need to give away a couple pairs of tickets for ASU's game tomorrow. Sam Houston State is in town. You get a parking pass with a pair of tickets. And are you prepared to do this right here and right now, Keon? I think we should let's give away a pair right here and right now. And if somebody on the line it sounds pretty nice, you can give it to them too. I don't care if you give away both pairs right now. 888-368-1580. We'll start with caller 3, and I'm giving Keon discretion to take it from there. All right, so call in, get yourself a pair of tickets for the ASU basketball game against Sam Houston State. That is happening tomorrow, and then you get a parking pass with each pair. 888-368-1580. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. The best way to start betting smarter is to sign up for a free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe.
After 12 weeks in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs are the betting favorites to repeat as Super Bowl champions. The Chiefs are plus 430 to capture the Lombardi Trophy at Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. San Francisco is at plus 440 to capture the championship. That's the best bet in the NFC, despite Philadelphia having a better record at 10-1. The Eagles are plus 460. The Baltimore Ravens are 8-3. They are plus 700 to win the Lombardi Trophy. Miami also 8-3, plus 900. The Dallas Cowboys are plus 1,000. Dallas has the number one offense in the NFL, putting up 31 points a game. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
If you are an IT professional looking for an opportunity with great benefits, the freedom to creatively solve problems in a career with great growth potential and a team environment, look no further than Affinity Technology. Serving the Valley since 1992, Affinity Technology is looking for a level 1 tech to develop and deliver excellent solutions and outstanding customer service. Visit atechaz.com/jobs and get started with your future today. That's atechaz.com/jobs.
Greg Clark Automotive Specialist, located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley Automobiles for 44 years. And we're offering our fall inspection on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Also, our brake service inspection, recommended every year to prevent repairs and ensure top performance. For guaranteed family touch service, contact us at 602-246-2881. Highly rated by Google. Online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention the Fanatic to get 10% off.
Marijuana may be legal in Arizona, but driving impaired is not.
As a police officer here in Arizona, I know DUIs apply to more than just alcohol. Anything that impairs driving makes you dangerous on the road. If you feel different, you drive different, and driving impaired can get you a DUI.
Get the facts at drivinghighaz.com and spread the word with the hashtag HighDUI. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona Sports Betting Station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Kick it!
It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. So who we got for a winner or winners, Keon, for the pairs of tickets and parking passes for the ASU game tomorrow against Sam Houston State?
We have Amaya D.
It's not their real name.
Well, their last name really is the Amaya part.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That really is a real. That's their email address.
Okay. All right. I thought that was just made up.
No, I thought so too, because when he said it, I was like, are you
Amaya
sure?
D? Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Am I admitting something about myself right now? What's going on here? And that was the
geez.
only winner, because the last person I went to go, I said you won some tickets, and they hung up.
Oops.
So I don't know if they heard that
They
they
probably
didn't
didn't hear
win.
you.
Yeah, maybe.
Did you say your call or something, and then they hung up, or you say, but you won tickets?
I actually started with congratulations.
Oh,
So,
well, Keon, you're supposed to talk to them a little bit and just decide if you like them or not. If you didn't like them, then
well,
you
I could hear the commercial break running out,
Okay.
and so I was just trying to make sure we got that before we wrapped it all up. But no, they hung up on me. So
Well, I tell you what, we'll do it again a little bit later. So be listening for your next chance to win a pair of tickets to see ASU play in Sam Houston State, and you get a parking pass. There you go. Nice try, Gamecock. He says, did I win? My call dropped. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. 888-368-1580. By the way, before we get into Keon Rose's college football dance party recap, I got a text message from Pickle D. And he said, I was like, why are you sending this? And he says, look at the time on my phone. Check out the time listed for the publishing. How is this possible? So I'm like, okay, I took a look. It says 5:15 on his phone. By the way, you've got 3 messages. You should probably check those. He's got 5:15 on his phone. But the story from Andrea Adelson from ESPN says 7:18 p.m. Eastern time. How is this possible? He says. How is this possible? Well, Eastern time is 2 hours ahead of us. So that makes up for 2 of the hours. 3 minutes discrepancy between your cell phone's 15 and her 18. But it's possible she posted this from her desktop computer, and the clock may have been slightly off on that. So she is not sending you messages from the future. That's probably the point of the discrepancy there. So I hope that puts your mind at ease, Pickle D. I thank you, by the way, for the follow on the Twitter. I followed you back because I realize you are a human being. And now it's time for Keon Rose's college football dance party recap. So what is it, week 12 or week? Doesn't matter. It's the end of the season, right? For college football.
yeah, it's the end of the season. It is week. Well, we just had week 13.
No, you didn't. It wasn't 13. It's 12 because week 0 don't count as a week.
Yeah, I'm not counting week 0.
So it should be week 14, but it's not week 14 because week 0 doesn't count.
Yeah, and most usually it's either teams that are playing cupcakes in week 0 or bad teams playing each other largely in week 0. That's usually not what I start watching.
I start the season angry about week 0, and I'm ending the season angry about week 0. So I'm sorry to distract. I know you got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, no, season starts with week 1, in my opinion, ends with week 13. So
thank you.
Yeah, hate week. We talked about it a lot last week, and there were. Well, look, no, we're gonna get to some of the other games that were around.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So we had Ohio State, Michigan beating Ohio State 30-24. That is 3 straight losses in a row now for Ohio State and Ryan Day versus the Michigan Wolverines. Jim Harbaugh wasn't even there to really enjoy it, and it's one of the rare programs in college football where you lose to your rival like that, and people are talking about we might need to fire the coach. And Ryan Day has done largely nothing but win while he's at Ohio State. Yeah, you could talk about how they've scheduled cupcakes, but a lot of teams do that. That's not just an Ohio State thing. And yet here we are with Ryan Day unable to beat the Michigan Wolverines. And it is starting to get a little bit concerning. And Ohio State is one of those programs where they'll just replace you with another guy. That program kind of recruits itself. It rolls on its own. Ryan Day, I'm not saying he's in trouble, but he should beat the Wolverines next year so he can make sure he's safe. That is my advice to Ryan Day. As Michigan kind of upsets the apple cart, it is also hilarious now in retrospect that the committee ever had Ohio State above Georgia at one point in those rankings, because they were never that good. I don't think that anybody thought that they were that good, except for the committee. And now everything's come back down to earth. So Ohio State college football playoff dreams, they're most likely dead unless the committee does something bonkers.
I'm so happy about that. I am so happy to see them plummet, just because I have no dog in the race except for I hate that so much. That's why I wish bad things for Ohio State every year. So let's go on with the rest of the recap.
And okay, so the rest of the recap, we've got Washington. They were number 4 ranked. They took on Washington State in their hate week, and fun game. 24-21 victory for Washington. And it was a fun game in large part because, Washington State, I don't think that they're necessarily on the same level with Washington. In fact, that they're not. They're 5-7, but they are a competitive football team. They play really good defense, and they also play really well inside of the Pac-12. They're very, very competitive. They don't really get beaten up a ton. And so here's a game that was huge for them because you get to play maybe a little bit of spoiler, and they did everything that they could to make that happen. But Michael Penix Jr. is going to be a tough guy to stop. Had a really good game, not his best game of the season, but it was a good game. I actually thought Cameron Ward, the quarterback for the Cougars, did a really good job and looked like the better quarterback of the two guys throughout this single game. But it just shows you how complete a team Washington is moving forward. You got Georgia Tech versus Georgia. I thought this was going to be a horrible game. The best name rivalry in college football, clean old-fashioned hate. And Georgia Tech showed up to play, made it interesting for about as long as I thought that they could, and then some. Georgia wins that game 31-23. But that was a fun game. That was a game where Georgia Tech pulled out all the stops. I mean, they were deep in the playbook trying to figure out ways to keep Georgia off kilter. It just ultimately the more talented team was able to go out and get the victory. Texas beating Texas Tech 57-7. I can't believe I was worried about that game. I also do seem to remember at the beginning of the season, the Big 12 commissioner telling Texas Tech that they needed to handle business against Texas so that they wouldn't move on to the Big 12 championship game. But guess who absolutely beat them and moved on to the Big 12 championship game? For me, making the college football playoff would be nice to see my team do it. But I'll be honest, just winning the Big 12 and just giving a nice FU to that conference on the way out the door would be funny, would be hilarious. I'm not gonna be mad at it. And then of course we've got some of the headlines moving around because we already know what happened with ASU Arizona. Why rehash it? We don't have to go into it. So here's what's going on around college football with some of the headlines. Shedeur Sanders had a bad back. That's why he wasn't able to play in the Utah game. Surprise, surprise, when you get sacked 52 times over the course of a season, that might actually happen to you. So he had a fracture in his lower back. So that's going to affect a lot of things for him moving forward. You know, his NFL stock was rising over the course of the season. He did look like a prospect that a lot of teams might be interested in. But I'm guessing between the way the season ended and his bad back, might be better for him to just come back and play one more season of college football. Hopefully his dad does something about that offensive line, either in the transfer portal or through recruiting, and give him an opportunity to play at the level that he started the season with. He just got beat up. He got beat up an awful lot. And he's a tough guy. He played through pretty much most of it. But at some point, you've got one back. Take care of your back, because when it's gone forever. And then the Texas A&M job got filled by Mike Elko, the former head coach at the University of Duke. Duke, not known for football until Mike Elko got there and made them good at football. I don't know what they're going to do. I thought it would be better to stay at Duke and try and build that program up than go to Texas A&M, where are they winning the SEC ever? Probably not. Texas A&M, that job is really hyped up. A lot of people really love that job, but boy, I don't see it. I don't really see what, and I understand I have a bias, by the way. I don't like the Texas A&M Aggies, but when I see that job, I see a fan base that expects you to be a championship caliber coach, to make their team championship caliber, and they're a 10-win football team every year. Like, that's the peak. That is the ceiling for Texas A&M. Mike Elko is going there. Hope things go well for him, because I genuinely like the guy. But my guess is that in about 3 or 4 years, he'll be where Jimbo Fisher is, which is that they'll be paying him not to coach at Texas A&M.
I so badly want to be paid not to do things.
That is my favorite job.
Oh, my God.
That's the job that I want more than any other
If
job.
I can figure out how to get Radio Run to pay me not to do things. I don't mean like what we pay Randy not to do. That's a whole different thing. That's more incentive to not do the things that he does sometimes. That's very different. I would love to be paid to stay home and do nothing.
Yeah.
Good God.
Just get someone to cut you a nice $20 million check.
There's coaches that get paid to do nothing, and then there's backup quarterbacks who stand there holding a clipboard. I can't think of two better jobs than that. Can you? I can't.
I can't. I think the coaching job is better, because with the backup quarterback, they might ask you to play quarterback at some point. If someone breaks their leg, you're the actual quarterback, and now Aaron Donald's after you.
But you get paid a lot of money waiting to get found out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
It's like you apply for a job, you lie about your credentials, they hire you, and then it's just you're in a timer until they sort of figure out that you don't know anything. But you've got that many paychecks until they do. That's backup quarterback. Being a coach sitting home getting paid to do nothing, you've won the lottery.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
I mean, you have a nice little run in the MAC or some conference like that, and then somebody overpays you to be in a Power 5, and then there you go. Just stay at home and collect the paycheck, which is what Jimbo Fisher will be doing now for a very long time.
So brilliant.
So when we do the college football dance party on Friday, it's going to be championship week.
Oh, I was going to say, why are we doing it Friday? Championship week. That's right. Not you, Arizona. Why is Arizona ranked 14? Why? They're 9-3. Below them, Louisville 10-2. Tulane 11-1. Iowa 10-2. Liberty 12-0. Go down the list. Toledo 11-1. James Madison 11-1. SMU 10-2. So many teams with better records. Why is Arizona at 14?
I think Arizona had a better schedule than all those teams.
Yeah, they played ASU. I get it. Shut up.
And other teams in the Pac-12. They played a pretty tough schedule. They were competitive in some of the games where better teams beat them, and they beat a lot of teams that were supposed to be at their level, and some even slightly above. So they really punched above their weight class this season. If they were to play head-to-head against Tulane, they'd beat Tulane.
James Madison would beat Arizona.
I would love to say that. I don't think that's true.
I just did with my mouth. And I stand by that. We'll never know. I mean, I don't even know if James Madison is going to be able to sue their way into a bowl game or not. If they figured that out, they still said no, right?
Last I checked, they had said no.
It's just, there's no justice in the world. Stupid. Lost Toby says they're called interns. Teach them your job. Then you get paid to not do anything. Can't trust an intern with everything I do, man.
And yeah, and if you ask an intern to do it and the intern screws it up, you get in trouble still.
Gamecock says, after Gamecock's disappointing season there, do you see Spencer Rattler getting drafted?
Maybe. But it would be around round 4, round 5 and below at that point. Because I think he's got the physical ability to play the position really well. Like when you see him play, there's some stuff that he does, and I'm not exaggerating, it just reminds you of Patrick Mahomes. But like you can find where Mahomes is the more intelligent football player, where Mahomes will make the right play. He'll make the play that's maybe not the flashiest one, just to make sure that his team is on schedule, picking up first downs, where Spencer Rattler is always looking for that big play. And sometimes it gets him out of the structure of the offense, and then things don't look very good.
Hefty Lefty says 52 times in a season. Those are David Carr numbers. Shadur's next NIL deal should be Icy Hot and Advil.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's insane. I need to find what the numbers are for him. Like who got sacked the most this season. But if he's not number 1, he's near the top.
Pickle D says, I'd like to send a Braille middle finger to emoji to the CFP committee for ever placing OSU over UGA in their poll. Triple middle fingers, he says. Thundar San Barbarian says, hey, where's Randy today? He scared the bleep out of me in Premier League this week. I thought he was going to beat me twice this season. Yeah, he was so close, but then the Vikings defense, if the Bears had gotten a touchdown, he would have either been within a point or had beaten you. I'm not sure how that would have sorted out, but just did not go his way. And I also noticed, Thundar, when the Bears got that final field goal, it didn't even change the defensive points. So I thought that was weird. Navy Brad says, for the Radio Hall of Fame, I say Randy White, Keon Rose, and Jeffrey O'Brien. I don't think we've never won an award. I don't think we're going to win that one. Fecal Miss says, Reggie Wayne, Hall of Fame. Yeah, I'm going to vote him. Cardinal Art says, what the hell is Arkansas thinking? What are they thinking? Wanting to rehire Bobby Petrino, Keon?
I don't know. I can't believe I left that off my headline list. Bobby Petrino, this feels like a booster hire. There's no way that that program, that actual university wants Bobby Petrino back there after he had an affair with the woman, then got into a motorcycle accident with the woman he was having an affair with, and then had to sit there at a press conference with his neck brace and his bruised up face, lying to everybody about what that relationship was. It's the single most hilarious image in all of sports, and I can't believe you would sign up for that embarrassment a second time. Just can't believe you do it.
I think it's awesome. Against the Spread says, no way JMU beats Arizona. And then he goes on to actually analyze it. Against the Spread, some of these are jokes. He says, sorry I didn't give the pick to cover at ASU last week, but I figured it would fall on deaf ears. By the way, JMU and Jacksonville are both in bowls because not enough teams qualified for bowls. Oh, so they did put them in a bowl? Well, I thought that NCAA said nay to that. Moist One says, Ohio State played a better schedule up until that point. It's not a big deal. And if you think that team couldn't win a championship if they somehow miraculous got in the CFP, then you are just a silly goose.
Oh, wait, which team?
Ohio State.
If they somehow got in, I mean, they were a good enough team that they were ranked in the top 4, and I don't have it. I personally don't have Ohio State hatred. I don't care either way. But if you're going to argue that they are one of the 4 best teams in the country, you might have an argument there. If you're going to argue that they should have at any point been number 1, there is no argument. They were never the best team in the country.
Hefty Lefty says, I always get Bobby Petrino and Rick Pitino mixed up. I just assume both of them slept with some co-ed he wasn't supposed to.
I mean, that's true. Right. That's a fact. Right. Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we have On This Date in Big Georgia sports history. But right now, caller 3 gets a pair of tickets and a parking pass for the ASU basketball game against Sam Houston State. Call now, 368-1580, and we'll be back in just a bit. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's gawon'twait.com.
If you are an IT professional looking for an opportunity with great benefits, the freedom to creatively solve problems in a career with great growth potential and a team environment, look no further than Affinity Technology. Serving the Valley since 1992, Affinity Technology is looking for a level 1 tech to develop and deliver excellent solutions and outstanding customer service. Visit atechaz.com/jobs and get started with your future today. That's atechaz.com/jobs.
Greg Clark Automotive Specialist, located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley automobiles for 44 years. And we're offering our fall inspection on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Also, our brake service inspection, recommended every year to prevent repairs and ensure top performance. For guaranteed family touch service, contact us at 602-246-2881. Highly rated by Google. Online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention the Fanatic to get 10% off.
Time for some smart saving. Put money aside, not your child's future education.
I'm Arizona State Treasurer Kimberly Yee. The sooner you start an AZ 529 education savings plan, the more money you'll have when your little one graduates high school. Invest just $15 a month and you could have thousands of dollars saved for their education needs. Go to az529.gov so when it's time to achieve their dreams, they can.
Now that's smart saving. Sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
In the morning, get out of my bed. Wake up, Phoenix, to the best new morning sports show on radio. Join me, Tony D.
And me, Ron Culver, every weekday from 6 to 9 a.m. right here on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Against the spread, send me a link. It says Washington Post says JMU bowl game eligible. I'm not clicking the link.
I was looking that up during the break. They are, yeah.
Well, that's good.
As
That's
of
good. I thought the
couple of
NCAA
days
shut
ago.
them down.
I think that they were trying to, but against the spread, correct. Just there weren't enough bowl eligible teams. So at what point do you even bother to shut them down when you have teams that are perfectly deserving of being there, and none of the teams that were already eligible were able to win enough games to make it?
Well, I'm glad they got in. I'm glad. I mean, that whole thing was silly anyway. Just silly. All right, so do we have a winner there for the tickets?
We do. It's Gamecock.
There you go, Gamecock. Now, make sure you root on ASU, even though they're not your team. All right, don't go in there acting the fool wearing a Gamecock jersey or something. I'm just saying. Gamecock says, I am the champion. Take about 25% off, man. It's just a radio call-in contest. I wouldn't list that on your LinkedIn resume or anything. Moiswin says, Ohio State should have beat Georgia last year, missed by a field goal, and then lost by 1. I get Ohio State lost Stroud, but Georgia lost most of their defensive starters. I don't know how you can say Georgia is so much better than OSU, not like they've had a harder schedule.
I think Georgia has had a harder schedule, and Georgia loses defensive starters, but they retool basically. It's a pipeline now. Georgia doesn't lose defensive players and then not have anybody to fill in the gaps. that thing pretty much runs as a machine as far as the recruiting goes. And Georgia it's either that or Florida, one of the best states to recruit from in the SEC. Like, they're already there. And how can you say they should have won last year? They didn't. They played a head-to-head game, and Georgia beat them.
That settles it for me.
Yeah,
You know what settles it for me? That's what settles it for me. I didn't even care about the rest.
Jeffrey didn't need good reasons for that. Yeah.
Mr. Pringle says, great job by Against the Spread, keeping us up to date and, on the college football. Fish Tank says, I just read something claiming that U of A has misplaced $240 million. Have you guys heard about that? Is that true? It is.
It is.
Yeah, we talked about it not too long ago. Oh, my God. Listen, what do you think happens when people at U of A are educated by U of A? It's easy for them to misplace $240 million. Eventually, somebody with a real degree is going to go in there and find it. They're going to be like, oh, my God, you guys just carry the zero and the just simple math. It's right there. It's right there.
My favorite part of this whole thing, too, is that when they asked the president of the university, where did the $240 million go? He just threw his arms up in the air and said, athletic department ate it. And that's it. That's the only reason he gave. He gave no other explanation. He didn't give any further details.
Anybody follow up, say, excuse me, how? How did they eat it?
How does this work?
What was it spent on? Certainly not that crap stadium of theirs. Where'd the money go?
I don't know. But
I don't care if they lost their money, to be honest. I don't care.
I don't care, but there definitely are students that not involved with the athletic department who were promised certain scholarships and things that the university was supposed to provide.
Blessing in disguise. They'll have to go somewhere else now. You've just saved some lives, I think, by bad accounting or theft. Either way. Lost Toby says, I still don't understand how there's no the Ohio State Community College. I would support the Ohio State Community College a million times over before I'd support Ohio State.
It's crazy that the University of Ohio, just the University of Ohio, no state, they don't get to use the same state. It's silly.
It is silly. You know what else is silly? I forgot. We didn't even talk about this. It's silly that on Thanksgiving, how long have we been doing this where each game feels like it needs a halftime show? How long has that been going on?
I don't know.
Now, listen, last week when he said, hey, that Jack Harlow is going to be doing the Thanksgiving halftime show for the Lions game, my first question is, who the hell is Jack Harlow? And nobody knew.
He's a rapper.
And then I said, was it any good? And you didn't have to answer because I saw that halftime show. The answer is no.
Well, I'm glad we agree on that.
This guy comes up behind him. It comes out of like the worst built set you've ever seen. Is it an igloo? Is it a paper? What is this? And then this guy is behind him, not doing nothing. He wasn't singing along. He wasn't backup rapping. He was just standing there looking high. And I was like, wow, is he doing sign language? Because I can't see his hands moving. Why is he there? And Jack Harlow just mumbled a bunch of nonsense. None of it seemed to rhyme or go together. And then he walked around and then there were cheerleaders and then he was on a stage. Why? And he didn't need a stage. It was him. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. Worst thing I've ever seen is Jack Harlow. And I remember seeing him in the New Balance commercial and going, what is he? And I still don't understand.
I still don't get it either. I'm trying to understand.
Is there a hit that this guy has where you're like, oh yeah, Jack Harlow because of that song? No, there isn't. No, Keon, stop. Don't look it up.
No, I am looking it up because I don't remember the name.
You don't have to look it up.
I don't remember the name of the First Class is the song that he's known for.
Hum a few bars.
And it was
hum a few bars.
No, because it's gonna sound bad.
Hum a few
because
bars.
I think the song is bad.
The point is you can't hum a few bars.
I know the tune, but I don't care. First off, I'm not gonna defend Jack Harlow. I don't like him, so I don't care. I just wanted to look up the song because I know I've heard one of his songs, and that it's First Class is the song. I think
Did
it sucks.
Macklemore have a baby and then beat it? Because that is what Jack Harlow seems to be.
Yes.
Enough said.
That's
just
and then
horrible.
They remade White Man Can't Jump, which stinks already because I like that movie.
You didn't need to remake it.
The original movie. It doesn't require a remake.
You got Rosie Perez, Wesley Snipes, and Woody Harrelson. You think Jack Harlow should be in that movie? No.
And
especially not now that I've seen him perform.
I've seen the trailer for it. He's a bad actor. He can't act on top of not being able to rap or any of the other things he's supposed to, that they're saying he's good at, but I haven't seen evidence that he's good at these things.
Hook'em Hottie says it's not even his song. It was Gwen Stefani's song anyway.
Really?
What song?
Wow.
What song?
It's probably the same First Class song.
I don't know.
No, I'm not even going to bother playing it because you know what? Here's the thing. It's not even an earworm. It's a forgettable song. Like you'll play it and maybe 30, 45 seconds after you're done hearing it, you're done. It's not catchy to me. I don't know.
Hefty Lefty says Jack Harlow name checks John Stockton in his #1 hit. Okay. Fish Tank says that Jack Harlow set looked like an elementary school play about the North Pole. You're absolutely right.
I do like rap music, and I just think that he is a guy that I have been told is good. But when I see him, I don't see what everybody else is seeing.
Moist One says that man had a date with Dua Lipa, though. I can't talk crap. She's the queen, but it didn't make him better.
Yeah.
Didn't make him talented. Hefty says, did you notice that jelly roll is what happens if you told AI to create a person if Luke Combs ate Post Malone? Who the hell's jelly roll?
I don't know. I just do think it's funny, the idea if you just tell an AI that.
I mean, somebody told an AI Macklemore had a kid and beat the hell out of it. Jack Harlow just suddenly appears. That is the truth. Lost Toby says, as much as I wanted to, I didn't hate the new White Men Can't Jump. You saw it?
It's on Hulu. It went straight to Hulu.
Yeah, I'm just going to trust you, Lost Toby. If I want it, I'll watch it.
I saw the commercial and I was like, no, I've already seen the version of this that I like.
You know what? We got to do this real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in the year 1938, Monty Stratton, having compiled a 36-23 record during his 5-year major league career, had his right leg amputated due to a hunting accident in Greenville, Texas. He was hunting rabbits on his family farm when he fell, accidentally discharging the shotgun. Pellet struck his right leg, damaging the main artery. Had to have that thing amputated the next day. Yeah, and after that, he got a wooden leg. And they didn't have the fancy prosthetics then, like the Bungy Bungy Man or any of these cool titanium things. He had a wooden leg like a pirate.
Wow.
And he learned to pitch again and made a comeback attempt. It didn't work.
But he had the stones to try.
He did.
He's already got my respect.
You know, he worked in baseball and he tried on some minor league teams and stuff. But Jimmy Stewart played him in the Stratton story back in 1949, just about him and what he went through. Film at least won an Academy Award for Best Original Story. Problem was, you can't plant on that wooden leg. I don't know. Maybe he could have done better with modern prosthetics, but yeah, that's pretty cool that your story gets an Academy Award for Best Original Story. That's something at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
Against the Spread says, Keon, I'm trying to wrap my head around some of these conference championship spreads. Oregon have been playing well, but they're 9-point favorites against UW. It's a team that's I think it's undefeated. Yes. Michigan is also a 24-point favorite against Iowa, who have incredible defense. Liberty, 10-point favorite against a well-coached New Mexico. St. Jerry, kill team that has SEC road win. What do you think? Is Vegas getting carried away on these spreads?
I think you'd have to say so a little bit, especially with the that Oregon-Washington one is tough because Oregon's favored by 9.5. And the only loss that Oregon has all season is to Washington, the team they are favored to beat by about 10 points. I at least have I mean, you can favor Oregon. You can look at that roster and say, okay, maybe Oregon's got a more complete roster. But then shouldn't that spread be like 3 or 2.5, 9.5? That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't
basically yes.
Yeah,
Vegas is maybe it's one of those things where they set it now like that and it settles. It starts to change, but doesn't that cause Vegas to risk some early bets making a lot of money?
Maybe, but they know what they're doing, man. Like they definitely have figured out whatever formula it is that they can afford to just build a bunch of glass structures in a desert. But I do see some of these lines that I just don't understand. I agree with against the spread. It's how is this happening? The Florida State Louisville one is also confusing. The 2.5 for Florida State, knowing that they don't have their starting quarterback, Jordan Travis there. It's odd.
Stockton Slap, you're probably right. He thinks U of A spent all that $230 million on meth. You're probably right. Either to cook some new batches or just to take it themselves. Kiss the Cook says that was crap music. No doubt, not rap music. Navy Devil says, I didn't know they even remade White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah, it's on Hulu if you want to see it.
I'll never see it. It doesn't exist. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole